A very good evening and welcome to round 4 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. I'm Giles Cosgrove, she's Jess Ball, and he is James Montgomery. We're headed towards the halfway point of the series. Are we excited? This is going to be absolutely spectacular tonight. We're headed over to the land down under in Sydney. It's a night race as well, so we've got it all to look forward to. We're going to be talking you through what is to come in just a bit. Already the comments are coming in. Daniel Sloan says, big up Queen Mary Formula Student. SM9406 says, go Freddie. York Formula Student says, fingers crossed for back-to-back York wins. And Mateus Zaleski says, go Hull. So do please get onto the stream. Let us know who you are supporting. Where are you watching from? We would love to hear from you. Jess, it's going to be a very exciting race tonight. What can the drivers expect?
Well, it is a very exciting race this evening. We've got a sprint race, sprint and feature for this evening's proceedings. So how it is all is going to be working is if I try and get my format up. So we're going to be starting. We started with qualifying. That's happened. Then we have a warm-up. Then we got a 15-minute race with grids determined by the first qualifying. That's when the first driver gets to race. Then the drivers have a little bit of a break, and then we get qualifying 2 for the second drivers, ready for the 35-minute race, which will be the feature race. Points are the same for both races, and you can see the timings on your screen. And at the moment, Giles, we're running to schedule for the first time this season, so hopefully we can stay that way. But knowing us, it will probably go behind schedule as the stream goes on.
Probably not, but we are really reliable and right on time tonight. And I must say, very big thank you to none other than the legends that are HighViz Media, who are producing the stream tonight at their studios in London. We're deeply grateful to them. The event hosted by JJRacing. We're partnered, of course, with Williams eSports. Are really exciting for them. They've just announced their partnership with, I want to say, I misread it the first time I saw it, but Williams have partnered with an Australian management firm, and I misread it as Alanis, and I thought for a second that Alanis Morissette had suddenly got involved in Formula One. I do stand corrected, but they unveiled their car in a big launch with Jenson Button and their drivers over the course of Valentine's Day. For those of us who are into Formula One, it was probably the best date we could hope for. Monty, you're in London. How is it?
It's very Londony. It's very busy. This is the first time I've driven around London for nearly 10 years, and I have to say, you know, when you come from an island where it's only 40-mile-an-hour speed limits, and it's kind of, oh no, after you, sir. Oh no, after you, sir. To suddenly driving in London now, yeah, I'm feeling
it's like being in Mad Max.
Yeah, I feel like a very, very small fish in a huge pond. Actually, I've been given a mascot tonight. HighViz, they have a shark. So that's to try and help with the feng shui, get the shark mentality in me tonight so I can cope a bit better when I get out of the city later.
Crikey Moses. I don't believe I've ever driven in London in my life. The admissions charge. Yeah, I was going to say the admissions charge is enough to put you off. Instead, we're going to Australia. We've got V8 Supercars tonight. I love a good V8 engine. I'm such a child, but you just can't beat a V8. And I know we are going to see the death of them in our lifetime because of emissions. And yes, that is necessary in order to, you know, stay alive as a species. But having said that, I will always have a deep fondness for the V8 power unit. Meanwhile, over on the stream, the comments are coming in at 10 to the dozen. SM9406 saying music too loud. We might have adjusted that since that comment came in. Hopefully we have. Daniel Letard says, DMU, DMU, DMU. More on DMU later this evening. Sandvich also talking to teams that we're going to talk about more later tonight. Monty's old stomping ground, UH Racing, is supported by Sandvich, who says, go UH Racing, all the best. Suleiman Hussein says, hashtag Hull love. Yahan Arakachilij, I don't know whether I pronounced that properly, and I can only apologize, but he says, good luck, Jacob. Nicole Arasebi says, Forza FRT. M says, Team Surtees. Hugo Ward shouting, UOL, UOL. And Abhay Zagar just simply saying, let's go. Meanwhile, C. Jones, I love this because last round we had a gentleman win who is part of the developers program for Ferrari Sim Racing Team. And we've just got Ferrari guy for the win in the comments this evening. But potentially, we could be seeing a repeat of last time out, especially in the sprint. what I can guarantee is we will get very out of breath because it was pedal to the metal action from start to finish for 15 minutes. It was highly concentrated and we couldn't keep up in the commentary box. So I can tell you now, we're going to get a lot more of that to come. On your screens now, you should be seeing the overall schedule for the year. We are on round 4. So as we've been saying, we are in Sydney tonight, Imola next time out. And round 6 is a special format that not even myself and Jess know anything about. Any guesses what round 6 could be, Jess?
I have no idea what round 6 is going to be, but it's nice for it to be a surprise. And probably Monty might have told us ages ago, us two, but we probably forgot. So,
Yeah.
But that makes the surprise even more exciting. But we do have an announcement, Giles. We got a date for when Formula Student final round of the Sim Racing Series will be. It will be on the Tuesday of Formula Student week, which will be the 15th of July at the good old William eSports. Thank you to our title partners for having us again this year. It was such a privilege to commentate at their eSports facility last year, and we get to do it all over again this year. So save the day, everyone. 15th of July, the Formula Student Sim Racing Series finals will be at Williams eSport on that day.
I love saying these words. You heard it here first. You really did. Williams eSports, 15th of July, 2025, for the grand final of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. Be there or be square. There will be an opportunity to look around the museum, seeing some iconic cars from across the year. Championship winning cars, driven by the likes of Damon Hill and Nigel Mansell, there in their museum. It is gorgeous, and they always put on a good spread as well. You can't really beat it. It's a wonderful place, wonderful bunch of people. Thank you ever so much to them. Coming up tonight as well, we'll have another edition of Formula Student News. We do have a shout out to do because there is now a Formula Student podcast. If you haven't already seen it, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. You can find them online, oddly enough, at Formula Student Online. You can catch them on YouTube and on TikTok. Our good friends Cheryl and John have been introducing Dan Jones, who's being interviewed about the rules. You know what Dan Jones says, always read the rules. We're beginning to get into that time of year where it's all hands on deck as teams begin to build their chassis and start getting their cars together ready for July. So head online and check out that Formula Student podcast. We'll have more information on that later this evening. What else is to come in the Formula Student News? Well, we've got some content on the way for you from a bunch of great teams and some memes as well. So it is all happening tonight. Jess, after the last time out, we've got Queen Mary in the lead, Hull chomping at their heels. What way do you think it's going to go this evening?
It is going to be quite a close weeks ago, because of course this is the result after round 3. Vigo being very consistent, having a win and another podium. And I know Monty's going to be very happy of saying this. Hertfordshire B team doing really well to get second in that round. I could see Queen Mary bouncing back after a really good performance in Watkins Glen. If you haven't watched Watkins Glen, I highly recommend it. Obviously, after this broadcast, of course, it was brilliant to commentate on. And it was great to see Glasgow, Giles, being back at full force. It was coming back. It was like what we saw in not last season, but the season before. They started off horribly the first few rounds, and then they started to come back. So I'm predicting that Glasgow is going to have a good round. But I've looked at the joker list. We'll go through that in a second. There is quite a lot of jokers tonight, but it's gonna be so much fun. I'm seeing in the chat as well. We had quite a famous cameo on BBC Radio 1 for Mr. Giles Cosgrove, which is quite funny. We'll go through that in a second. But look at the standings, Giles. Queen Mary leading by 10 points over University of Hull A. Then we got Southampton in third on 261. King's College London is a surprise. They've been the strongest rookies so far.
They have indeed, and I'm really pleased to see that there's a real mix of established teams and new teams to the front of the pack this season, making up that top 10, which is really great. And I'm also quite enjoying the fact that there's not a lot separating that top 3. 10 points or so between Queen Mary and University of Hull, and far less than that between University of Southampton and University of Hull. So very much all to play for going into the second half of the season. Those engineering challenges paying dividends and making all the difference. Shall we actually get the results of the last engineering challenge just to clarify those? I think those did flick up on screen at one point. Might be worth looking at those again.
Oh, they're going to go through that later?
Yeah,
be.
we will be announcing the second engineering challenge tonight, but just as a recap, I guess it's a good point for anyone who's relatively
for
new
round
to...
one's engineering
exactly.
challenge.
Yeah, so for anyone who's relatively new to the series, so basically the teams can score points in two ways this season, guys. So obviously there's up to 100 points for grabs per round. Hence why when you see there's only 10, 15 points between the top three, that is very close when you can score 100 points per round. But in between these races, we are challenging the students with data, basically. So these are engineering challenges, they are data analysis challenges, where they're provided with a set of data, they're provided with a challenge sheet, and the idea is for them to try and interpret what the data is saying. They can go and collect their own data to support it as well, but basically they've got to come up with a solution to the problem that we've given them. Now, rather than it simply being the fastest driver gets the most points, we're actually asking them to submit short reports, no more than 5 minutes worth of reading, for professional judges to review the quality of their work. The idea is that they should be able to problem solve, there should be some engineering principles in there, how effective is their communication, their rationale, their justification, etc, etc. So it's not necessarily about being the fastest driver, it is about applying that science, applying that maths, problem solving, you know, like you would do in a real engineering environment. Granted, the end result may be a little bit different compared to data that you see in the real world, but it's still the same principles. You're applying that science and maths to try and gain a competitive advantage and understand what is actually going on. So for each of these challenges, teams can earn up to 50 points per challenge. So as you can see, for the first challenge we did earlier in the year, University of Glasgow won that with 50 points. So that's another 250 points in addition to the 700 points available in the actual racing. So it creates a big chunk of the points for them to win over the season. So basically the teams need to be doing these if they want to stand any chance of winning the championship overall. It's also a great opportunity for perhaps some teams who aren't always the most competitive on the track to show off their engineering prowess. And there's one thing we've seen over the last 2 seasons of doing these challenges. Glasgow are amazing. They have won every single one of these challenges. This is the 11th challenge we've done, and the previous 10 have all been won by Glasgow. So it's an unbeaten record, and I guess that could be the story for tonight, is are we about to see them going for an 11th win? Or can someone else finally take them off their perch? We'll let you know.
Find out later on.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. If nothing else, it's incredibly exciting. It is also very engineering to get excited about data, but indeed we are excited about the data. Meanwhile, on your screens are the standings at the end of round 3. To reiterate, Queen Mary, University of London are in pole position. They are your championship leaders going into this race tonight. University of Hull are in second, and that is University of Southampton in third, with University of Vigo following up in fourth. In fifth, it's University College Dublin. King's College London are in sixth. University of Glasgow in seventh. Queen's University Belfast are in eighth. Cardiff University's A team in ninth. And rounding out the top 10, it is the University of Bolton. Not a lot separating the top 10. It is all to play for going on to the tarmac of Sydney tonight in those V8 Supercars. So make sure your eyes are on the screen. Make sure your volume is up. No distractions. There's nothing better to do on a Saturday night than watch Formula Student sim racing. I can tell you that right now. It's better than brawling outside a pub between Bristol and Cardiff football fans. I'll tell you that. It's almost like it didn't. It's almost like that happened tonight. I couldn't possibly comment. Anyway, to go back to something that has been picked up on the stream, I may or may not have popped up on Radio 1 a few weeks ago. And I was surprised that I got a message from one of the Formula Student teams. And I want to say it was Bolton. I could be wrong, but someone messaged me, "Is that you on Radio 1?" And they asked for a shout out. So I just tried to get a shout out in for everyone. So I gave a shout out to everybody involved in Formula Student. Thank you very much to Greg James for that. And thank you very much
lovely.
Yeah, indeed. He said I was cool. As far as I'm concerned, that's all I need. Forget Tinder and validation like that. Greg James thinks I'm cool. It's a problem solved.
And he's a fan of Formula One as well. He has his own podcast.
Well, there we go. Formula Student and Greg James crossover. Well, can we make it
Shall
happen?
we try and get Greg James to Formula Student one day?
Oh, that'd be great. That would
That's
be great.
a challenge for people. So what are we looking for now? We've got Greg James.
Guy Martin and Greg
Guy
James.
Martin. There we are. Done.
Right.
I'm just wondering if I'm going to hear you 3 times on the radio in a year now, Giles, because if I contact everyone, Giles was in Jersey last summer, and he was over on the same day when Oasis Reform, the band, the concerts were all announced. And our local radio station were trying to get people's reactions to it. And the first person I heard coming on the radio as I'm driving home was this man. It was Giles going completely off on one about how he would sell his limbs, his kidneys, his mother, and everyone else just to get one of those tickets. And I'm going,
I still didn't.
Giles? And then 2 weeks ago...
You can't be escaped. You can't be escaped.
No, this is the thing. This is exactly the thing, because a couple of weeks ago I'm driving along listening to Greg James. He turns up again. I just can't get away from him whenever I'm driving. It's mad.
I'm going to see Olivia Rodrigo with my sister in Hyde Park in the summer. So that
I
will
can
be
hear
rather
engines,
good fun.
guys.
Let's have some engines, shall we?
Engines.
Let's have some engines.
It is warm-up time here in Sydney Motorsport Park, and it's a very interesting circuit as well. It is Sydney's only permanent track. Of course, Australia has other tracks, Bathurst being one, and they recently held their 12 hours earlier on in the year, earlier on in the month actually as well. Origin to the circuit began in the mid-1980s, where there was a lot of world championships. First came the World Sports Cars, then the F1, and then the World Motorcycle Championship. And Sydney without a suitable permanent facility. Of course, we had Adelaide, Melbourne as a street circuit, and Phillip Island as well. So those are the circuits that they're known in Australia. 4,000-seat grandstand, and it has, I believe, 18 turns the drivers have to negotiate tonight. And there was one thing that was mentioned in the briefing. There was a certain part of the track in practice where some teams cut quite a bit off, and the stewards were like, no, you can't do that, and if they do that, they will be disqualified from that session and they will be sent to the back of the grid. So if they get caught doing that, then they can't do that, and apparently I'm too loud compared to everybody else. So
I think we may have fixed it.
Don't worry, Jess. Already fixed. I've shut you up.
Okay, good.
I must say,
Am I all good now?
the position of Muppet in residence has been filled, so don't be a Muppet out on track. Use the full circuit. Don't try and cut the corners. This isn't Mario Kart. And as you can see on your screens there, we are indeed racing those V8 Supercars. I want to say that every Australian car, performance car, is basically just a Vauxhall with a V8 engine put in the front or in the back, but I might be wrong. Hopefully no Australians are watching and won't skewer me for saying that. But anyway. The sound apparently is good, which is good news. Meanwhile, whoever this is has completely lost it. Who's that? Is that Queen?
That's Belfast.
That's Belfast.
Yeah,
Whoops a daisy.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear Lord. What on earth is that?
It's my skin for this
crikey
race,
Moses.
guys.
Oh my God!
That's the stuff from which nightmares are made.
Well done, Rob. You've excelled yourself
you
yet again.
taunted us.
You may not be loved on Valentine's Day.
It was Valentine's Day yesterday.
Insert Valentine's joke. Everyone knows that I hate Valentine's Day, so...
I do as well, Monty. You're not the only one that hates Valentine's Day.
Do you know what was really sad? Last night I posted on Instagram, and I had planned this for ages, and I was having the time of my life. I was in bed, I was in my pajamas, I had a chocolate selection box, and I had Bridget Jones on the telly. I posted a photograph of that on my social media, saying quote-unquote Valentine's Day for one. That got more likes than half of the FS stuff I talk about. Me being alone on Valentine's Day got more likes than Formula Student, for goodness sake.
I think I may have just found our new poster for one of our next races.
Oh dear God, that's terrifying.
Oh God.
I'm impressed with how my
can't
eyes have turned up as well on the windscreen and everything.
Where have they got your eyes from in that high resolution?
Someone has been stalking my Facebook and Instagram accounts, I think. I mean,
ladies, you know where to go. If you want
God,
eyes like, if you want to wake up to eyes like that, if you want a Monty jump scare in the morning, then you know where to
I
go.
have a boyfriend, so I don't need to worry about that.
You are all
Yeah,
good
well-
there. Right, on that bombshell, shall we talk about the grid? Because it looks like
Let's
the
do it.
service has resumed, guys.
We should. We
gonna have
should.
to
I've got the live timings because I could barely see it on our screens. But I've got the live time. We should say the order. But I need to refresh it because it's not.
That looks to
There we
me
go.
to be Southampton on
Yes, it is
pole
Southampton.
position with Queen Mary Formula Student in second, and that is the York B team in third. A team, sorry, in third, with Vigo in fourth. FRT from Florence are in fifth. Cardiff's A team are in sixth. Meanwhile, in seventh, it's Queen's University Belfast. In eighth, it is Bolton. And following them is Bath in ninth. I think. Who's
De
that?
Montfort.
De Montfort. Ah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
Bath and De
Fantastic
Montfort.
stuff.
Brilliant stuff from
De-
them.
De Montfort
Then we've
are
got Hull
in
A.
10th. Hull A in 11th. In 12th. Could someone tell me who that is? That York
That's
B?
York.
That is York B.
I could go through the rest, Giles, if you want, because I've got the live timings. So we've got York B in 12th, College Dublin in 13th, Leicester. Leicester's in the top server. That is
Welcome
great
back,
to
guys.
see. Welcome back. Then we got MTU in
Munster.
15th, Munster. Then we got UCLM in 16th. Then we got, is that Redbird in 17th?
It is indeed, yes.
It is Redbird. Then we got Exeter. Welcome back to the top server, Exeter.
Hey!
In 18th. Then we got Staffordshire in 19th and Glasgow in 20th. I presume Glasgow's a one-driver entry, so that's why they're the back. Is that right?
I don't know. I'm having a quick look at the qualifying results just to see what happened in that one. We've still got 2 minutes to go until the race begins. So I'm just on my other screen now, guys. Just having a quick look to see if that's
Yes. No. Well, I know. Glasgow B's a one-driver entry, but
It's always a good noise.
no, I think they just had Staffordshire. Well, yeah, Staffordshire's a one-driver entry. We know that.
I think it's a one-driver entry. They qualified 11th according to the timings.
Okay, so yeah, we got one driver entry. I need to go and find as well who are the I'll go through the jokers quickly. I know we haven't got long to the lights went out, so if the lights go out, someone shout, please. So we got Glasgow A, Southampton, Bolton, Cardiff A, Bath, Queen Mary, Munster, Queen University Belfast, York A, De Montfort, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Glasgow B, Heriot York B, number 43 car, which I can't pronounce. Apologies if I get that wrong. Cardiff University, Universidad de Castilla-La Mancha, and then we got University of Greenwich. So those are your jokers tonight. They have 2 jokers to use throughout the season, and quite a few teams have already used up their 2 jokers. Some haven't even used their jokers, but those are the jokers to keep an eye out tonight, Giles.
They are indeed, to clarify, because I had a couple of people messaging me wanting to know exactly what the Jokers do. It makes the cars lighter. We run them heavier than they would be in real life throughout the series. They have the choice at 2 opportunities throughout the series to make them weigh that bit less and return them back to factory settings. And those teams running them tonight, Jess has just gone through for you. We are lining up to go racing for the first time this evening. It's a 15-minute sprint off the line for these teams, waiting for the lights. Round 4, race 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series is about to get underway. Here we go then. It is lights out and away we go. And that is an absolutely stonking start from Southampton who get away. But Queen Mary are nearly up alongside them, battling out with York's 80. They're 3 abreast into the first turn, and Southampton really do look like they're going away with it. Queen Mary side by side with York. Vigo keeping close in behind them as well. They're bunched up as the front 4. Cardiff coming in the back, and that's Queen Mary well away. That's an absolute disaster for a lot of the front runners, and this is absolute carnage off the line. Oh my days! Out of the gate, and it's all gone Pete Tong. Who is actually managing to hold on to that? I think it looks to me
Southampton is still leading. Southampton
have gone away, and that is absolutely disastrous for a number of the teams. York A managing to put themselves up into second. You're on board there with Queen's University Belfast, I think. And I just can't believe that has happened so quickly.
We're running on board with Exeter, Giles, who's had a stonking start by starting near the back of the grid. there, if the timing say so correctly. And they avoided the carnage, which is great to see. But we've got MTU, he's got past Florence up into 5th place as well. But that was probably one of the craziest starts we've ever had for Formula Students in Racing Series race this season. But fair play to those of you that kept it on the track.
Absolutely. So let's run through the running order as things stand, please. If we could just go back to the full screen so I can read what's going on. It's very, very high pace tonight. Right, okay. There are your race leaders. Southampton in pole position. They managed to avoid the drama. York A following them very closely with Queen Mary, Formula Student in 3rd. Vigo are in 4th. Munster in 5th. FRT in 6th. Exeter with a blinding start. Cardiff in the pits already. Cardiff are in the pits with only 2 minutes gone. Jess, you must be right. Surely that's damage because they weren't doing, I didn't think, too badly off the line. They were still with it up into the top 4, top 5. And then all of a sudden that drama and it's all gone wrong for Cardiff yet again. Queen Mary holding that 3rd place rather nicely. Meanwhile, here comes University College Dublin hunting down the back end of Exeter as Exeter dice it out with Florence from Italy. This is a great start for the Devonshire team. Florence going a bit squirmy through there, inviting Exeter to make a move. College Dublin lurking in the background, waiting for the two to take themselves out. Going on the outside are University College Dublin side by side with Exeter. Can they make this work? Exeter not giving them an inch, and University College Dublin have to back off. Aggression there from Exeter as they dive down the inside of Florence, and Exeter are up into 6th ahead of Florence, and that's University College Dublin trying to make it go round the inside of the team from Italy. They can't make their side-by-side through here. Who's going to break first? This is absolutely spectacular. College Dublin backing off and giving Florence a bit of room, but they are still right there in the battle for 7th.
This is sensational stuff between these three teams as well. And Glasgow's up there as well. Glasgow's up to 9th place after starting at the back without one driver entry, and closely followed behind is Staffordshire, also one driver entry. They avoided the carnage too, as Glasgow trying to get in the slipstream of University College Dublin in towards turn number 1 with 11 minutes to go. With it being a sprint race, all hell will break loose. They're trying to gain as much positions as they can. Southampton has got a 1.8 second lead over York.
That's a
in
fantastic
second.
move. That's an absolute spectacular move for Glasgow. 2 in 1. University College Dublin and Staffordshire overtaken by Glasgow. Absolutely spectacular. Florence as well, gone, and Glasgow pulling away in 6th. Where Exeter gone in all of that?
Exeter might have dropped a few. Exeter's dropped to 15. What's happened there?
An absolute disaster then for Exeter. Somehow we've missed it in amongst all of it, but Exeter, who were up in the top 10, were in 6th position, are now down in 13th. They're taking a very wide line to try and get past DMU, de Montfort, and they get ahead. And that is Exeter up into 13th, trying to claw it back with 10.5 minutes of racing to go after what was a very promising start. Meanwhile, here is York A, hunting down the race leaders Southampton. York gunning for a victory in this sprint race. Can they make it work is the question. And meanwhile, Darren saying a good start from UCD. Was indeed a big pile up to the start, and meanwhile Jason said he would put his mortgage on Aljo. He better win so I don't disappoint the wife. Jason, I think that's rather a brazen bet if I were you, but there we are. I'm not a betting man myself. And that is, of course, you can see there, York still on the hunt for that number 1 position. Southampton well away with a gap of around 2 seconds here. And in the background there, that's Queen Mary approaching York. York might have to start thinking about defence rather than attack. That gap closing between Queen Mary and York. Dylan asking what happened to Vigo. Jolly good question, Dylan.
I think we're still seeing some side-by-side action in towards, or it's very choppy at the moment. It's hard to keep up, but we have 2 red cars trying to go for positions as we see fit, and already it's being super close as we're heading towards the 8-minute mark of this race.
Bad news for Vigo. Vigo's driver G29 has disconnected, we're reliably informed. Absolutely gutting. Meanwhile, Nev Cohen is right to point out that Glasgow made an absolute barnstormer there. P20 to P5 in 3 laps. It's the sort of position jumping that Schumacher and Senna could dream of. Absolutely fantastic, and also a big shout out to Nev just because Well, we love Nev here in the commentary box. Meanwhile, Shaw Zeb says, which one is Greenwich? I'm not entirely sure. Greenwich are up here in the top server.
They're in server 2.
They're in server 2, which we're not able to bring you this evening, but we will have a conversation with James about the results of server 2 later this evening if we possibly can. Queen Mary on the hunt, getting closer and closer now to York B on your screens there. That gap really has closed, and if I were York B, I'd be less worried about what's in front of me and very, very worried about that V8 orange car behind me, flashing the lights there, and there's backfiring and sparking out of the exhaust. This is a storming drive from Queen Mary, formerly student. Can York B hold on? I'm not convinced. I wouldn't like to be under this amount of pressure, especially with so long to go on this sprint. Daniel Solon saying, big up Queen Mary, rightfully so. Meanwhile, it's FRT versus, who is this? Is that Staffordshire? I can't read the signs, I'm sorry.
That's Redbird.
That is Redbird and FRT duking it out for 8th position. Florence ahead of the team from Hong Kong. The team from Hong Kong taking a very interesting line, getting up on the grass to try and go on the inside, but they can't quite make it work. Looking to the outside now are the team from Hong Kong, really putting the Florence team under pressure. Florence handling it very well indeed. They've kept these guys off their back for a long time now, and they're pulling away there. Here, meanwhile, is Vigo side by side with Hull, and Hull go well wide, and that is Vigo holding on to their 15th position, having been challenged by Hull. Or were they in fact overtaken? Did Vigo overtake Hull there and go through on the inside and force Hull wide? It might well have been the latter case. Elsewhere, we're back now with FRT holding on defensively to that 8th position with the Red all going on the inside there. That looks to me like they all go sideways as well. This is absolutely spectacular. Surely they're through. Hong Kong go through. Redbird goes through on Florence, and that is Redbird up into 8th position.
Amazing. They're stuck together like magnets, these two cars, and they're going to be fighting for the rest of it. And one thing to note, Giles, the tyres that they got on off today, they got the softs or the super softs. None of those tyres last very long, so they got to manage them in their stint effectively. The sprint race, of course, will be easier, but for the main feature race, which is 35 minutes, it's going to be a lot trickier. So it's all going to be about managing the consistency, managing the pace throughout, so their tyres don't run out too early, because otherwise they're going to be in a lot of trouble. As we've got Vigo once again chasing down De Montfort for 14th position at the start. Finish straight. He's going to get a brilliant run into the tight corner, and there goes Vigo up to 14th.
Vigo taking 14th position from De Montfort. Next up for them is the York B team. Some spectacular racing tonight. Southampton going away with it with a lead of about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. In fact, it's 5 seconds. I stand very much corrected. And there is Vigo going past York B already. It's happened almost immediately. Vigo on an absolute stormer of a drive. Really great stuff. Going a bit wide there, but most teams seem to be taking that extra wide line to get the apex onto the left-hander there. Meanwhile, here is EVRT, there is Hong Kong, and they've got Staffordshire up ahead of them, University College Dublin, and the team from Florence behind them. It's a bunch of 3 for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Good evening to Wendy as well. I'll chat more to you shortly, Wendy. Currently on your screens, it's the battle for 7th place as the team from Hong Kong hold off a charging Dublinshire, University College Dublin, and of course, the team from Italy. Excellent stuff here in the mid-pack for the first race. 5 minutes of racing to go. They've got to make their tyres last. There is no point in making a stop during a sprint like this, but you can see the grip is beginning to go away. These cars getting a bit more squirrely through the corners, and that means the tyres are deadening. As a result of that, make sure you're watching at this point during the long race, because you can guarantee pit stops will be occurring. Will it even be a case of a 2-stop strategy, because it's only 10, 15, 14 minutes into the race? If you repeat that, you're still going to have a couple of minutes to go before the second batch go off. Meanwhile, Queen Mary are chasing down York A yet again with a gap of just under a second between the pair of them. This is the battle for the second step on the podium tonight in the sprint race. York A getting away from Queen Mary. Queen Mary still in the hunt, but it looks to me to be York just about beginning to pull away now. Is this because York have been kinder to their tyres as Queen Mary are so desperate to hold on and try and get into that second position? Your thoughts, Jess?
I don't know. hard for them to push now because they only got a few minutes left. If I were them, you are a race for a heart. You want to gain as many positions as you can. It is a sim racing championship, and you don't want to leave it all to the final few rounds. Of course, we got the drop rounds. Where they could choose a race where they did perform as well. So maybe if they don't perform well here, then they could use that as a drop round. But Red Bird has been the big surprise out of all of
absolutely.
this. I'm really happy. I am a believer for underdogs because I'm an underdog myself in sim racing. If the underdogs do well, it makes me very, very happy. But one thing that's making me very happy is seeing Glasgow resurgence from the bottom. Of course, Glasgow it's not the team that we're used to. It's the newly formed team since their graduates have left the team and moved on to pastures.
I've got to interrupt you, Jess. I've got to interrupt you because York A are down into third according to the timing screen. That puts Queen Mary up into second ahead of them, and there's an orange dot pulling away from them that looks to me to indeed be Queen Mary Formula Student. I think York have had an off. There's a gap of 3 seconds. It was under 1 second earlier. I think York A has had an off. Was that a driver error, or was that forced in contact as they tried to go past? I couldn't tell you. Right now, here's FRT. That's Florence, side by side with University College Dublin. Down the start-finish straight. The left-hander beckons. Florence have got ahead of them, and that is University College Dublin relegated down into 9th as Florence pulled themselves up into 8th. Staffordshire have fallen victim to an excellent charge from the Hong Kong team of Red Bird, and it might be about to be the battle of the underdogs shortly, Jess, between Hong Kong and Glasgow. Right now, here's the view for Exeter. They were doing really well earlier on. They were in 5th. Then all of a sudden, they were down in 15th for reasons that we're not quite sure of here in the commentary box. They're battling it out now with University College Dublin as they try and regain single-digit positions into the top 10. Looking around as College Dublin is drowning at the moment, I can't help but say they seem to be struggling. And just in through a couple of corners. They're pulling away now, however. Who's got the brave for this left foot when it comes to braking? Couldn't tell you. We pulled away as Vigo close it in on University College London. Meanwhile, and that is... Oh, dearie me. That's a problem. That's not an off, Jess. They've run out of fuel. Or something has gone wrong. They're in the pits.
Yeah, they have run out of fuel.
Absolute... They've been charging far too hard.
Have the same problem. Other teams going to have the same problem. We'll keep an eye on them. Southampton's still leading, by the way. Surely there'll be quite a few teams lifting and coasting with 1 minute and 10 to go on the clock. This is probably giving some red alert moments for all the other teams out there.
There will be a lot of other teams checking their telemetry now as they try and coast through the last minute of racing. Here's Exeter trying to get through on College Dublin. College Dublin having none of it, closing the door on them violently. Excellent stuff from College Dublin. Exeter looking to the inside, closed again by College Dublin. They get onto the apex. They are really trying to use every inch of tarmac. Are Exeter to try and get through on College Dublin, and rightfully so, because they've got Bath all over their rear end, squeezing through, breathing in as hard as they can, are Exeter on University College Dublin, and Bath's it right in the mix as well, thinking, I'll have a bit of this, thank you very much, and it's a three-way battle for 8th position. Who's going to take it? This is the battle to the line, surely. Bath trying to go through on Exeter all of a sudden. Exeter going to the inside of College Dublin. They haven't got enough momentum to carry them through, and they back off. And Bath, it's a battle between Somerset and Devon as well. This is excellent stuff. Southampton headed towards the line now. This is their race, has been from the start. They qualified in pole. They're weaving towards the line. They know they've done it. Southampton take victory for the first race of the evening, with Queen Mary Formula Student having overtaken York A. They take second place, and York A will have to be content with third as they come over the line.
What a race, Giles. We know the sprinting race in round 2 gave a little bit of cheer and excitement. This one definitely gave us something to cheer about and excite about. It was a shame about Red Bird because they were pretty much there throughout the entirety of the race up until the end when they ran out of fuel. That just shows you have to pit in the feature race now. Luckily though, we are seeing a lot of other teams making their way across the finish line, so I think it just might be a miscalculation on Red Bird's part.
It could well be that it was something else. It may not have been fuel.
Might be an engine, maybe, I don't know.
It does strike me as being fuel. unless we hear differently. Monty, you've been watching that throughout. Can I confirm, in your expert opinion, did that look to be a case of running out of fuel for Redbird, or was there another technical issue?
Yeah, no, I'm going to say that was probably miscalculation of fuel. That was actually them on the back of that battle at the end, not Bath. So it looks like they've come straight back out the pits again just to try and classify and get some points that way. So very wisely that they were staying behind but didn't want to overtake either of them. So I thought that was very mature driving from them, just to ensure that they were still getting points without ruining those very tasty battles happening throughout. I have to say though, guys, the last time we went here, exactly the same thing happened on turn 2. They all went flat out through the first corner, into the hairpin, woof, they all went straight on there. So I'm glad to see old habits don't die.
Oh, talk about an absolute calamity into turn 2. That was just, I mean, I just didn't know which way to look. There was bonnets and bumpers all over the place.
Fair play to our one driver entries in Staffordshire and Glasgow. Staffordshire from P19 to P6. I can't remember where Glasgow finished exactly, but I think they finished one place above them.
I want to say 5th, Jess. I want to say 5th.
5th. So fair play to Staffordshire and Glasgow. I think they pretty much had a gut instinct to be like, no, I'm not going to be going for that move. I'm just going to be sitting pretty. And rewards happen. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes take your chances. If you know something's about to go wrong, don't go for it. And that's exactly what they've done as well. We'll see how those two drivers get on in race 2 a little bit later on for the 35-minute feature race.
Indeed. I do have a special shout out to do. I couldn't do it during the race because there was too much going on. But Wendy Cohen has said, hey, Giles, enjoying the race tonight for the first time, watching from the same place as Nev. Oh, mum and son together. That's so cute. Nice to see UG Racing having a good start tonight. Yes, it really was. What an absolutely impeccable drive from the back of the grid up into single digits. That's fantastic stuff. And obviously a massive shout out to Wendy. We love Wendy in the commentary box. Wendy, come to Silverstone in July. We'd love to see you. You'd be more than welcome in the commentary box. We're going to try and get a driver interview for you as soon as we possibly can. So do stand by on that one. And if you are the driver from Southampton, try and make it life as easy as possible for Monty, please. We'll have the driver from Southampton in the studio. Well, I say in the studio, in the commentary box virtually shortly. So stick around for that. We'll also have the Formula Student news coming to you very, very soon. And, of course, that 35-minute feature race, as Jess was saying. Disaster, then, for the team from Hong Kong, Redbird. They made an absolutely barnstorming drive with an excellent style, especially through those overtakes. Really gutting for them. Do you reckon they can come back with a recalculation on the fuel in the feature race, Jess? Because surely they'll qualify for the top server for race 2.
Well, of course, other drivers have different abilities. The other drivers will probably be looking at the footage a little bit more and thinking, right, it is 15 minutes plus an extra 20. Do not make the same mistake. They're going to be doing the maths. As an engineer, you've got to be good at maths. So surely they'll probably do a lot better. And the other teams will probably be thinking a little bit more about that as well. They also got to think about the tyres. It won't last long. So no. I think we will see a 2-stop.
It's on that limit, isn't it? It's like on that limit of you could either go long, but you're going to lose a lot of grip in those last couple of minutes, or you could go for a sprint stop in the sense that you stop and then just absolutely peg it. Yeah, and I'm not quite sure which one I do, if I'm honest. I think that's a really difficult decision, and just such is the nature of this race and the setup. A lot of love for Staffordshire on the chat. We cannot ignore that. Staffordshire from P19 to P6. Amazing race from Staff, says Queeb on keys. SM9406. Staff's just over the moon for them. Tent saying what a great race for Staffordshire. York congratulating Staffordshire as well as Smite with Freddie driving for Staffordshire. Excellent driving, Freddie, says Derek. Up to 6th from the back. Impressive. It was indeed. Congratulations to Staffordshire for a wonderful drive from the back. A team that didn't start from the back, in fact, started in the opposite position, started in pole, were Southampton. They managed to avoid that drama into turn 2 on the first lap. We're just trying to get hold of the driver for the team from Southampton to have a chat about how they managed to avoid it. I imagine right place, right time. They were leading into it. There were no cars around them. They could get out of there.
I think for them, crucially, it was about getting the good start, wasn't it? They got the good start. They weren't worried about what was going on behind them. They just focused on what was ahead, and they were probably glad that the chaos happened behind them instead of near them. So we'll see how they go in race 2. Of course, they'll have their second driver. Southampton are back in the good books, let's just say. Queen Mary as well. We're seeing those two, I think, being at the forefront in terms of the championship. I think it's going to be a really good championship fight between the pair of them now. Can Queen Mary go one up on them in race 2? We'll have to wait and see. Don't forget, Southampton are on their Joker tonight, and so is Queen Mary. So not a surprise to see them in the top 2 tonight because they're on their Jokers with a heavy car like that.
Not at all. In the top 3
as well. Can I just say they've gone really under the radar in that first race, but I've just realised Munster finishing 4th. That was an unexpected result because we're not used to seeing them in the top 10 as well. So I think they were really
true.
under the radar.
They were a bit quiet, but they just avoided it.
But got a huge haul of points out of it for that.
A team we are somewhat used to seeing in the top 10. They're currently in the top 3 of teams at the moment in the championships prior to tonight's results is Hull. And I don't think Hull had a particularly great race tonight. And could tonight be their drop round? I do wonder. I do feel for them, especially with that first lap drama. Getting caught up in that was never going to be pleasant. I must also say a big shout out to the USA. Alison is watching from the USA saying, great driving, Freddie and Staffordshire. Loving being able to watch from here in the USA. I don't know whether Alison is American herself. But if you are American and you are watching this, yes, it is possible to have a race where cars go both left and right.
Giles. If you're wondering what we were talking about, watch the clip from race 1 where Giles thought Irish people drove on the right.
I did think Irish people drove on the right, but I was more referring to the fact that in the US, predominantly their motor racing tends to involve just going in circles. But here it's a little more sophisticated, and you can go both left and right. We
also got someone else in the USA as well watching.
Oh, hello! Hey. No, I am also in the USA. Silverstone. Now there's an idea. Yes, Wendy, come to Silverstone. Good evening from the unfamiliar depths of Server 2, says McScottish. Oh, McScottish, we miss you. I'm so sorry. Good luck in Server 2. We'll try and get you the results of what's been going on in Server 2 for you later on. Meanwhile, for a second, I thought we'd lost Monty, but it turns out he's just blending in with the back of his chair.
Yeah, I'm blending in the back of my chair, working on 2 computers just now. We're just trying to get Southampton in because something's not going well for them at the moment. So I've given them the link. All I'm getting is, I'm on my way. I tell you, they like building up the anticipation, don't they?
They do.
It's typical that Southampton have won. You've moved to Southampton. It would probably have been easier if you'd been at home in Southampton and just run over to their house and give them a microphone.
Do you know what? That's actually such a great shout. Perhaps I should. Well, if I wasn't in London right now, then yes. No, I should probably just go and do that. Really, it'd be much easier to go and grab them. Right,
oh dear. Meanwhile, Harry Steptoe says, I killed Server 2. My brakes snapped on my rig. Thank God for hand controls. Meanwhile, Safyan Ghani saying, can we get a shout out to University of Greenwich? It's our first year. Indeed, a huge shout out to teams taking part for the first time. Regardless of what server you're in, we love you all. So big shout out to you guys. Steptoe. I genuinely didn't realize that was a proper surname. I just thought it was in the sitcom Steptoe and Sons, which is a really, really old TV show for those that don't know. In fact, most of you won't, unless your parents watching.
It's literally in the name there, Giles. Steptoe and Son. So
yeah, but I thought it was just made for the.
I thought Steptoe Junior.
Oh
well, yes,
but
I thought that Steptoe was just made up for the show. I didn't realize people actually were in real life having that name. Meanwhile, we're trying to get in the driver from Southampton to talk to them. Have we got them? Hello, Southampton. Can you hear us?
No, he's just joining.
We can
on
see
Discord
him
now. So, oh, good, we can see him now. So I'm gonna hopefully testing. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
You can hear us. Fantastic.
Hey.
I'm just double checking, and you're coming through on the live stream as well, ladies and gentlemen. Your first race winner of tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Where's the wine? Where's the wine, by the way?
Next room.
Next room. Fair enough.
Honestly, absolutely fantastic drive for you tonight on your Joker. The first win in quite a while for you. How does it feel to finally get back on the top step?
Oh yeah, we won round 1 and we were close in round 2. but definitely nice since round 3 where we were pretty far off the pace. For our pace, we went quite up at the front. Yeah.
Honestly, talk us through about that start, because you probably didn't see the carnage that happened in turn 2 behind you. Talk us through what was going through your mind then as you're making your way through the first few turns there.
Well, the start wasn't particularly great on my end, and I think it was Queen Mary directly behind me. They got an absolute launch. So that meant I had to just hold on the inside and not miss the braking zone, which I very nearly did. And I imagine a lot of other people did the same because, the brakes are cold, I think. You just completely miss turn 1 turn 2 if you try and stop it where you're meant to stop it on a hot lap.
That's probably why quite a few teams were struggling, and that's probably why the pile-up was happening as well. In terms of the tyres as well in the sprint race, I've heard a lot of teams were struggling with their tyres tonight. As it got towards the end of the race, were you trying to fight the car to get it to the finish, or was your tyre management good?
10 laps, tyre management didn't really come into it. I don't think you could kind of push them a little bit. Just don't lock up, don't spin the rears up. It just understeers when you get to that point of the race. Aside from that, it wasn't too sketchy. I think we did have a good setup, so that might have helped it out with the tyre wear.
Yeah, I think it's very important to get a good setup here, because it's not just about driving, of course, it's getting the setup that you need engineering-wise in order to race very well in these, and usually Southampton get that absolutely nailed with that, in fact. So well done to you on that one. Of course, when Sydney Motorsport Park was first announced, what did you think of it? Was it a track that your team was like, right, I'm going to do well? Because you chose your Joker. Do you think that was the right decision, picking your Joker for this round? So I believe I'm looking at your stat. Yeah, it's your second Joker, so that was your last Joker, and I think a Joker that paid off for you.
Yeah, definitely paid off for us. I think we might have preferred to have used it actually for round 2, but it worked out here as well today, so that's a positive. You always want to win when you do Joker. As far as Eastern Creek or Sydney Motorsport Park goes, I don't think I've actually driven it since like 2006 on Top of Race Driver. So
wow,
yeah,
there's a throwback. I love
that.
That
That is a throwback. My dad used to play that all the time when I was little. So that's definitely a throwback. I want to see if I could get my dad to dig that game out, and I could try and have a go at that myself as well, because that sounds like fun as well. Oh, that's good then. That it brings you a little bit of a throwback.
Yeah.
Talking about the real Formula Student, how is Southampton's Formula Student car going? What's the progress on that so far?
I think you asked me this last time. I'm not actually the best person to ask for that. I'm more just on the sim side of things. Just providing the driving and a bit of testing for them, but I can't answer that, unfortunately. I think we're trying to get a video put together, so you might be able to see something in that.
In the Giles, that's one to look out for.
Yeah.
Formula Student news next round.
I was anticipating it this time out, but it never came through. So we'll keep an ear out in the comms box for more VTs or a VT, I should say, from Southampton. Looking forward to seeing that. Massive congratulations as ever. How are we feeling? Will you be? I'm assuming you guys aren't a one driver entry, so you won't be driving again this evening. Who have Southampton got lined up?
They started on pole in race 1.
Well, exactly. Who's driving tonight for the longer race this evening for Southampton? How are they feeling? What's the thought going in?
So we've got Theo Mwanda, who's done all of our other rounds as well this year. Also looking very quick. Just got to deal with one very, very quick driver. So.
Yes.
Yes.
York's
even
weapon, I believe, is coming up for the second race.
Yeah, very, very quick. So I think it's just managing Warren.
This is going to be good tonight. This is going to be good for race 2. Thank you ever so much. Massive congratulations. And I don't think this is the last we'll see of you this season. We said it the last time, and you're back again. So once again, we'll catch you very soon. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Take care.
And that is your race 1 winner. Jess, do we reckon Southampton can go 2 for 2 tonight?
It's going to be a tough one, but with them being on their joker and them being so close to Queen Mary in the championship, I could sense it. But I know the driver that's going to be racing for York A, and that's the driver that won race 2 last time out.
I wouldn't want to be up against him. I wouldn't want to be up against him.
It's going to be between those two, and I've been looking at the practice times. He's been looking quick, so I think York A is going to be a big challenge for Southampton. It could be between those two, I think.
York A, that particular driver was the fastest, I think. So he tried out all the cars, all the different combinations, and I believe his name turns up 7 times in the top 10. He just tried every single combination humanely possible to see what would be the best way of doing this.
It's good that way, because then he can actually see what car will be so well suited for their team. So,
York have come along like Mercedes and Auto Union to Grand Prix racing in the 1930s and just taken the privateer fun aspect and just gone straight down the professional route with this, and might well be about to dominate the rest of the season. So do keep your eyes peeled. We might be about to see a complete turning
and they did
point.
well in race 1 as well.
Yeah, exactly. You might be able to...
Honestly, this is my lookout for the second half of the season. They're currently 11th in the standings. I'm not writing them out for the championship yet. You've heard it here first.
Yeah, I get
there we
that.
Go.
I got a funny feeling we're about to see not only this season, but the Formula Student Sim racing as a whole turn on a dime towards potentially a more professional output. We'll see. Unfortunately, we're still in the commentary box, so it won't be totally professional. Meanwhile, someone's saying, could someone turn Monty up? I mean, as long as we're asking to turn Monty up rather than on, we can definitely do that. Meanwhile, we've got the 4-minute student news to do now. 4-minute student news time. And I believe our first VT, once Monty's got over his cringing, you're welcome, mate, is the...
Shall we talk less about me and shall we talk more about what Formula Student is, Giles?
Yes, we do.
Yes,
Roll
because...
BT.
Well, that's just wrong.
Formula Student, a race event like no other, held at the ancestral home of motorsport, Silverstone. The competition represents the best and brightest of engineering talent from more than 30 countries. So what's it all about? Let's take a close look at the event. Differing to racing series such as Formula 1, teams are given a very open rulebook in order to encourage both innovation and experimentation. EVs and internal combustion engine cars race head-to-head, with forward-looking autonomous vehicles also on track. The competition takes place over 4 days. Thursday and Friday are critical for teams, performing final checks on their cars and bringing them for scrutineering. The cars undergo a series of safety and technical checks, with teams demonstrating their cars meet the rules and also are fit to race. However, not only the cars are tested. Thursday and Friday also sees teams presenting the business, design and cost basis for their cars, assessed by panels of judges, experts from industry who score the team's delivery, but more importantly provide mentoring and guidance to the next generation of engineers. With Thursday and Friday completed, we reach the weekend, where the competition really hots up. Teams ready their cars and drivers for 3 events on Saturday: the acceleration, skid pan and sprint. The acceleration event is essentially a drag race measuring the 0 to 60 time of the cars. The skid pan is a tight figure of 8 designed to test both driver skill and also vehicle manoeuvrability. And rounding out Saturday, the sprint event is an autocross style timed point-to-point race, with cars set up for out-and-out speed while avoiding cone penalties. With Saturday's dynamic events completed, teams shift their focus to the business, design and cost finals, where the teams present on stage. That brings Saturday to a close, with teams left a few hours to prepare their cars for the main event, Sunday's endurance. With dawn on Sunday, we reach Formula Student's final day, with the 22-kilometre endurance to complete and it all to play for. As the endurance begins, teams muster with their cars in race-ready condition, lining up in race order. 3 cars are on track at any one time. Formula Students' endurance event is time-based, with the quickest overall set of laps from the 22-kilometre race winning. Driver skill is critical to the event, maintaining pace without testing track limits and carrying time penalties for cones struck. Top teams set a blistering pace with a lap time of less than 1 minute, even with the driver change at the midpoint of the race after 11 kilometres. With the end of the endurance, the Formula Student competition draws to a close. The only thing remaining for the teams to pick up their silverware. The competition closes with an awards ceremony, crowning the overall winners and a host of achievements completed at the event. Teams, of course, celebrate late into the night with a host of party events. And so ends Formula Student. And there you have it, a brief summary of Formula Student. Interested? Why don't you grab a ticket and attend this July? And before you go, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.
Welcome to Spectra, the home of UH Racing. My name is Ethan, I'm a second year student at the University of Hertfordshire and I'm going to be your guide on this tour of UH Racing. But first, let's hear a little bit about the team.
My name's Tom Johnson, I'm team lead for UH Racing. So there are around 30 undergraduate students on the team this year. We're based in the new Spectra building at the University of Hertfordshire, which is a dedicated space for physics, engineering and computer science. So it's a big change for us to be in this new space. But we have dedicated space for Formula Student, which gives us a nice area to collaborate and work as we build UH28. UH Racing started in 1997, which makes us one of the oldest teams in Europe. We've attended competition every year since then, having also sort of travelled around the world and being up there with the best teams in the country. I'm hoping the UH28 will finally be the car that will compete dynamic split competition for the first time since 2019 and our first electric car since 2010. So we're really working on building a solid electrical foundation that future teams can build off of as we look to re-enter European and international competition in the following years. We were lucky enough to compete at Formula Student Germany in 2010 in the Formula Student Electric class. So it's the inaugural Formula Student Electric event. We actually competed the year before with UH12A, which was the world's first competing electric car, and then took our concept forward to be one of the first few teams to compete an officially recognised Formula Student Electric event. I think I see us continuing to develop our electric concept further. So much of what we do at the moment is unknown, and we're waiting for all the things to click together. But I'm really hoping that the future team can take what we have, make it lighter, faster, and better.
Okay, guys, up here. Yeah. All right, so now you know a bit more about us. Let me show you around. We recently moved into our new building. 5 floors filled with state-of-the-art engineering equipment, powerful computers, and comfortable study spaces for our students and faculty. We're really excited to utilise this new space to build our latest competitor, UH28. Heritage and history is something we're immensely proud of here at UH Racing, which is why we've chosen to display some of our old projects, like UH20 here. Down here on the first floor, we have this lovely little cafe where students can come between lectures, which are usually held in our massive CDIO spaces, where students learn the beginnings of the engineering process. But enough of that, let's go see the lab. Here in the lab, our engineers are working really hard to get the car designed and built. Due to the size of our team, this involves a lot of people putting in very, very long hours. Whoa. No sneak peeks, you gotta wait till Silverstone. Right, let's go see the sim room. Our expansive sim room contains our new motion sim built from the chassis of UH25, along with 6 other stationary sims. This room contains all of the engineering equipment and data gathering tools that we need for our engineering challenges and other sim racing events. So that was it. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour. We've had a lot of fun making this video. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at JJRacing, and we'll see you at Silverstone.
I mean, that puts us to shame. Talk about high production qualities. That is just spectacular. Really, really impressive there. Loving that the spanner got bigger and bigger as it went. And
Very nice joke. Very nice joke throughout all there.
Mr. Van Den Steen, very, very good editing. And Ethan on the presenting there. He's going to do us out of a job. I mean, for a start, he's got more hair than me anyway. And very nice hair as well. So that is just spectacular. And Monty's over the moon because that's his old stomping ground.
I am. In some ways, I'm a bit sad because literally that facility opened about 6-9 months ago. So I never got to experience University of Hertfordshire like that. I may have to go back for a cameo. I don't know. Maybe the launch of their JJRacing competitor this year. Now that I'm back in the UK, I can actually drive and get up there now.
Yeah, I think a visit to your old stomping ground is long overdue, Monty.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Well,
You're
I
the
wouldn't
captain.
go as far as captain, but I'll take it. Anyway, tonight on the Formula Student News, we actually have a very special video for you because this means a lot to a lot of people. A few years ago, de Montfort Racing had a car out on track that was really very nice. It performed really well. The driving was foot to the floor, right on the ragged limit of what the car could do. Very exciting stuff, especially in the commentary box. It was my first year commentating on Formula Student, and I distinctly remember the Mark 9 from de Montfort. It was an excellent car, and it turns out it meant a lot to them as well for reasons that I think they shared with me privately. I'm not sure whether I'm able to discuss it publicly, but I can really see why that car meant so much to them. It was then mothballed with the intention of going to electric. The team have since reversed that decision, are intending to enter this year with a combustion car. The chassis is in progress. And in order to get the team up to speed on running an internal combustion car, because obviously it's been a number of years since 2022, the team has evolved, the team has moved on. They've actually brought the Mark 9 out of storage, got it fired up, and that in and of itself is a big deal for any Formula Student team because taking a car out of storage and having it still work is a miracle. And for it to actually have so much meaning for the team and for those involved, it adds that extra bit of weight to it. And they very kindly shared with us the footage of the car driving for the first time in about 3 years, and we wanted to share it with you here on the Formula Student News. Roll VT. Wonderful stuff there from de Montfort, a car out of storage and back out on track where it belongs. We love to see it, and it means a lot to the team. It means a lot to us here in the commentary box as well. Congratulations to de Montfort, and the very best of luck to them going into the competition this year with a whole new chassis, a whole new car. I believe the car is going to be dubbed Sabrina, I want to say. If it's after Sabrina Carpenter, I thoroughly concur because Yes, Sabrina Carpenter. Have you seen that Vogue photo shoot? Goodness me. Anyway, back on to De Montfort. Let's have some memes, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go for some memes. De Montfort have been very active, actually, haven't they? They've given us a couple of memes, lovely videos as well. I think they mean business this year, Giles.
I really do. I'm crossing my fingers for them. I don't wish to curse them with the commentator's curse, so I shall just say good luck to Montfort, and I've got all appendages crossed for you.
Absolutely.
It's my card, the collector's item!
This is so true.
Hit my card, the collector's item! Hit my card, the collector's item!
I've been there, trust me.
Hit my card, the collector's item!
This is so true. What?
Relationship.
Let's focus on having a relationship, which I don't think always comes naturally. No way. I'm sorry, but that's got to be faked. There's additional things holding that boat together, like taking away from the meme. I've seen it before. That's just no. Just no.
Yeah, no, I think they're pushing their luck on that one. But you never know, actually. Never underestimate the power of duct tape. There are 3 tools, they say, as engineers you need. All problems can be solved with them. What are they, Giles? Duct tape is one.
WD-40, cable ties, and duct tape.
Not necessarily cable ties, because duct tape can do it. Less
WD-40.
about sticking, more about sorting it out.
James May? Oh, a hammer.
Not just any hammer.
A sledgehammer.
A rubber mallet. Everyone needs a
rubber
rubber
mallet.
mallet, man. Rubber mallet,
Do they?
WD-40, and sticky tape. Ideally,
Yeah,
gaffer
you
tape,
need a
something like that.
WD-40. You need
Exactly.
a WD-40 for sure.
So long as you
All
have
of a
those
sudden-
3 things, I can count me, definitely. So long as you got those 3 things, you're sorted.
Somehow tonight we've transformed a student into a Blue Peter make. Here's one I made earlier with sticky tape and a hammer.
Art attack, Giles. Art
Now that-
attack.
Crikey Moses. If it wasn't already camp enough tonight, I promise you it's going to get that way. Anyway, 35 minutes of non-stop action to come for you later on as we go racing again at Sydney for the second race of round 4 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. You're joining us here in the commentary box for the Formula Student News. De Montfort heading back to Silverstone, fingers crossed, with an internal combustion car. Hertfordshire, Monty's old stomping ground. They've got a fantastic new facility and they've been showing it off to us in a new video. Ethan has just invited Monty to come for a tour of it, so you can expect to see that in forthcoming editions of the Formula Student News. He's already very, very excited. Monty's back in the UK and he'll be going on tour. We'll be sending him on a grand tour of the UK. So keep your eyes peeled for a bearded man called Monty at a Formula Student facility near you.
Question for Ethan and the UH Racing team. Don't know if they can answer this one now. Does the Cruden still exist? Is the Cruden simulator still there?
I've got
That
no idea.
that was a state-of-the-art 6 degrees freedom racing simulator, which they acquired from an F1 team, and that's what we used. My thesis was based off that. I had to create like 8 different versions of a car and do driver and loop simulations. My whole thesis was based on trying to prepare a car before it actually turned a wheel, to show why simulations were needed as part of motorsport preparation, because as we've seen over the last 10 years, testing has been capped, it's been limited, budget restrictions, so that this was the whole purpose of my thesis, was to show that simulations could rectify that, and also from a driving point of view, get them in the simulator so they can actually prepare and learn how to memorize a circuit before they're actually on there. This was before the days of eSports. I'm not one to say I told you so, but bit of a hipster, I think it's safe to say.
Oh, just say it, for goodness sake. We know you want to.
Told you so. Thank you, COVID.
There we go. Anyway, moving on from Captain Smug, we're going to have a look at the University of Leicester and their monthly update that they ever so kindly provide to us each month. It's very well put together, and it gives a really great insight into the status of one of the Formula student teams, because usually most of them are operating on the same sort of time frame, on the same sort of calendar. So if the University of Leicester are doing it, chances are most of the other teams are doing so as well. Hopefully we can get that up on the screen for you in a matter of moments, because there's some interesting stuff going on, both in terms of the team in general and in terms of the engineering. How are we doing on bringing that to them, Monty?
It's unlikely at the moment because my computer's not playing ball. I'm trying to share screen. It's not. So what I propose we do for now is, whilst I try and get that newsletter back up so we can share it with the big bad world, shall we invite other James in and find out what was happening in server 2?
Yes, from one James to another. Server 2, James. Other James, how goes it? What was the drama? What was the action in server 2, please?
G'day, Bogans and Bogettes.
Yes.
Right, with race
Wagwan.
1, we had so many different immediate incidents. Turn 2 proving to be the big killer in the first lap.
Did they all pile up on the first lap in turn 2 in your server as well?
Yes, they did.
Right, brilliant. Nice and consistent. Well done, everyone.
Yeah, we're all students. We all make mistakes.
It's going to happen in race 2 as well, isn't it? I can feel it.
You know what you said about the last time that we were here? I was in that race. Guess who did the exact same thing?
Was it you?
You were in that. Yes, you went flying off in there as well, weren't you?
Because I was the pole car.
You were,
So
and you went straight on, and everyone else forgot to hit the brakes because of you, and so they all went yeeting off as well. I remember it now. Yes.
I'm a trendsetter. What can I say? Anyway,
it's a
going
James thing to be a trendsetter. You see, guys.
Yes. Going through server 2, lots of very close racing. Glasgow Caledonian coming in at first place, which I think is their first race victory of the season. Second place going to Hong Kong Polytechnic. Third place, Hertfordshire B team coming in ahead of Hertfordshire A.
Oh, they're continuing that trend then from last time out, then, aren't they?
And Hertfordshire B as well, getting the highest climber award.
Oh, fair
they
play
got
to them.
11 positions. Slight problems from Hong Kong Polytechnic side. I think they clattered a sausage curb at some point and unfortunately sent their car spinning, which cost them enough time to lose the. I think they could have won. They had a similar place to Glasgow Caledonian and really were bearing down on them quite a lot. And they also got the fastest lap. So fair play to them. But I say it's just converting that to the win there. UWTSD were actually doing very well. Up until the last lap. Yes, up until the last lap. They were in 4th position and they ran out of fuel.
Oh, we saw that up here as well. We had that.
Just like
we had that.
Yes.
Yes, not a good time for them. And they ended up 8th, which is rather unfortunate because that 4th place would have been their highest finish this season as well. And then
it's just like the same things that happened in server 1 as happened in server 2. It's just like a replica.
Yeah.
It's a parallel universe where everything's just a little bit different, but still the same.
And just a little bit slower.
Ouch.
Sorry, server 2, guys.
James, this is the first time we've managed to get your face properly onto the live stream. You're coming out with the spicy comments just to ensure that everyone knows who they need to hate. I admire your bravery,
They put a name to a face now.
Keep looking, guys. Now, and if you hadn't seen my liveried Holden as well, I know you guys were admiring Monty's Mustang at the start of the race.
Someone, Scottish said in the chat that Aberdeen avoided the turn 2 carnage. Is that correct?
I think they were on the cusp of it as well. I think they just about kept it on track. And
well
Aberdeen,
done, Scottish.
Aberdeen,
well
to be fair, came in 4th position, so they did do very well. Scottish, coming in with the goods as always.
Well done to them.
When don't they? When don't they? Thank you ever so much, James. It's always informative and entertaining as ever, and as always, completely envious of that haircut for obvious reasons.
Luscious hair. But honestly, you could be a spokesperson for L'Oreal with a hair like that.
They
I
couldn't
bet
pay
you could
me
do
enough
like the
to do
full
it.
on like what did anyone go and see Wicked over Christmas? I bet you could do like the full hair flick in Wicked with that lot. Looks like far too
Well-
much maintenance, but anyway.
Well, you guys will have to find out at the Williams event in July. You know, if there's any reason to go other than competing in a Formula One facility, it's to see me flick my hair.
15th of July is the date we're going to be at the Williams eSports Arena for our finals at Formula Student Sim Racing Series. Save the date if you haven't already, because it was mentioned at the start of the stream. That's where we're going to be for the finals on the 15th of July.
Excuse me for laughing, but I've just seen a comment come in from Scottish, all in capitals. I gained 6 places from that nothing on the cusp about it.
Someone
And then
is
he's
triggered.
like-
Well done. Well done.
And then he's
I
like,
should have done that in my
I'm
Scottish
disappointed.
accent.
Alrighty, guys, we have possibly 2 minutes until I can start getting some footage from the live stream of our second race. We've got one more newsletter to go through. Shall we move on, get that,
Yes,
and then
let's do
hopefully
it.
I've got some tasty footages for you guys soon?
See you
Yeah.
later,
Let's have
everybody.
it. James, thank
See
you ever
you
so
later,
much.
James.
You're welcome to stick around and have a look at Leicester's newsletter if you want, but I imagine there's Sturba 2 stuff going on as well if you're needed. But anyway, over
Yes.
at Leicester, they have been had a slow. Apparently the sound's gone.
I forgot to put the sound in on that page there. Do you know, it's just back to us 3 for now then, guys. Sorry.
Right, okay.
I'm done. It's just going to be us for the next 90 seconds. Let me see if I can get the sound back in there. And if I can, then we can finish off that article. If not, then more fool me. Sorry, brand new computer. Just not my usual equipment doing this. I'm so much in HighViz's debt for allowing me to come here and run this tonight. But
Massive shout out to HighViz Media.
Yeah,
for,
massive shout out to HighViz. Meanwhile, Kat has said, "Don't worry about the sound going. I'll just guess." I mean, if you can lip read, then well done. But if not, you might be struggling.
How are they going to lip read with no cameras?
I just wanted to talk about the BSPD that Leicester have been discussing in their newsletter because I find the BSPD fascinating. I mean, I've got a nickname for it, which I don't discuss on the stream. But if you're at Cardiff, you'll know what I call it.
Yep. Now we can hear. I've remembered to put the thing in. The thing.
Brilliant.
The audio in.
Brilliant.
The audio in. The audio in. Gee, God.
Also-
Do you know what? Giles, just take over. I'm just getting my words all completely screwed up now, aren't I?
Right, okay.
Hey!
Well, Yui has suggested that people create their own commentary, to which I would say, please don't, otherwise you'll do us out of a job. Meanwhile, over at Leicester, as we've been saying, they came third and second in race 1 and race 2 last time out in January at Watkins Glen with the 1971 NASCARs. I think, Monty, before we realised that there was no sound, you were about to point out that they came third and second in server 2, which is fair enough.
Correct. Yes.
But then again, third and second is still third
That's
and
still
second.
good.
I don't tend to come third and second in anything in my life. Those that can do and those that can't talk about it, as evidenced by why I'm sat here. Meanwhile, over in the chief engineer's debrief from Dylan over at Leicester, the team have also completed the manufacturing and testing of the brake system plausibility device, the BSPD. I remember when this was introduced into the rules at Formula Student as a compulsory system to have on the car. I think it was 2022. It caused a fair bit of upset because not every team realized it was definitely and had to be on the car. So previously, it had been somewhat optional, I think, if I recall correctly. And then I think it was last year or the year before, we were talking about it in the commentary box and then set off a bit of a tire fire about exactly what the BSPD did. I can now clarify that because Dylan has kindly written what it does. This device is part of the safety system and will shut the car down when both the throttle pedal and the brake pedal are pressed. And you know what? For a system that causes the teams so much brain ache, It is tiny. It's a tiny little circuit board. That's just mad. But there it is over in there. Meanwhile, the chassis team are getting ready to install the harness mounts. This will include an added layer of complexity due to LR04 being the first of University of Leicester Racing's cars to feature a reclined seating position. Ooh la la. More comfort for the driver, better weight distribution as well. They'll be sat lower in the car to lower the center of gravity. Potentially then better handling for the new car from Leicester. I look forward to seeing that one out on track. Meanwhile, can we go and get some live footage from the screen? I think we can. Here it is then. It is the night race. It is race 2 tonight for round 4 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. And this is the full race. It's 35 minutes long tonight. I'm just trying to squint at the screen. Pardon, Jess?
I can tell you, Giles, who is on pole position, and it's not really going to be much of a surprise after what happened in race 2 last time. We've got a York and Southampton front row.
Oh, good.
So there we go. York A are on pole position with Southampton on the front row. I'm excited for this one because I think those two are pretty much going to be equally matched now. Of course, Southampton winning race 1, and they want to win race 2 as well. But if they don't win race 2 and come second, they're probably going to still go and top the group, I think. Top the overall thing. So, you know, it's going to be good. But, Monty, can you make it full screen so we can see who is in Server 1?
Not yet. I can do that once warm-up is done, guys. I'm just doing a few more settings in the background.
No worries, Monty, no worries.
So once they form up for the grid, I'll be able to give you all the full info there.
Brilliant. Thank you, Monty.
Billy Sturdy, can you try and not get us to say stupid things in the commentary box? I wasn't born yesterday. I've watched The Simpsons. I know how these things work. Meanwhile, just to provide a little bit of context, we're coming to you from a studio kindly provided to us by the wonderful people at HighViz Media. They are the producers for this tonight. They're an absolutely fantastic bunch of people. We're really, really grateful to them for lending us their facilities in London. The event, as you'll be aware, hosted by JJRacing. Some of you may be familiar with his work, and we are partnered with Williams eSports. As ever, grateful to them. Looking forward to being with them on the 15th of July. Servers are provided by Emperor Servers, as ever, and thank you very much, because none of this would be possible without the computing power of Emperor Servers. I heard Cardiff, Jess. What's going on?
Cardiff had a bit of a moment on the grass, and then they were lawn mowing and they were cutting a bit of the circuit.
Is that Mr. Farmer driving for Cardiff?
Yeah,
again
that
tonight?
is Mr. Farmer driving the car. Yes.
My guy, we were at the pub the other day, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, people have their favourite drivers over the years, like people they grew up with, like Lewis Hamilton. Like I was there as a kid watching him win his first championship. Lewis Hamilton, to me, just will be one of the greats for all time. Aaron is genuinely up there as one of my favourite drivers to watch. I love watching Aaron drive. Meanwhile, Matt says, York so easy, everyone else should quit. I imagine the rest of the field might have something to say about that. There are a number of comments coming in fact. According to Dylan Crawford, a reclined seating position actually means more pain for the driver. Billy Sturdy simply commenting a top hat. So is Top Hat Tyler joining us?
I think he is. I think he is racing tonight for race 2.
Salvatore saying, Dylan.
Yep, I see him in the York car just now.
Let's go!
Top Hat Tyler.
And it's not, and they're not using the Joker tonight.
Lovely stuff. Meanwhile, DMU saying, anyone remember Christian Bezel? I don't know.
Basil.
Oh, whoops.
Basil?
Flat Cat Fred. Hi, Flat Cat Fred, says Billy Sturdy. I don't know who that is. Yui simply saying, most entertaining driver strikes again. Yes, he does. And apparently, Yui are only here for the Formula Student News. So, you can go and make your dinner now.
Are we not that entertaining enough?
I mean, we try our best. We're not exactly Clarkson, Hammond and May, but one of us is tall, one of us is loud, and one of us is short. So we'll do the best we can. Anyway, coming up for you, we'll have the grid. We'll have the grid running order in a bit. I wasn't like, well, crikey Moses, not this again.
My God.
It looks even better from the inside, I have to say.
Oh, that is like frightening. It's like Monty staring at me, thinking I've done something wrong.
You know, I mentioned The Simpsons earlier. You know that scene in Homer's office where it's like photographs of Maggie saying, do it for her. This feels like that if it was in the Twilight Zone.
Like, do it for Monty, pretty much.
Yeah, do it for Monty. There you go. That's tonight's hashtag, everyone. Just comment. Just do me a favor. Just spam the stream comments with hashtag do it for Monty.
Let's go one further than that. FS Memes, if you're happening to watch this, I expect to see T-shirts going around in Silverstone in July. Do it for Monty, please.
Well, if they're not watching, I'm gonna be DMing them on their Instagram with that clip. So you're welcome.
Brilliant. Right.
Meanwhile,
I don't know who runs that now.
Yui have said we just need to remember to qualify and we'd be here more. I mean, yes, you would. Meanwhile, talking of who are here, look who's on pole. Is it any surprise? York A are in pole position. Meanwhile, in second place, it is Southampton. In third, it is Queen Mary Formula Student. So again, the same sort of teams we saw in race 1, we're now seeing in race 2. Bath are in fourth.
Yes, he could be one to keep an eye on.
Queen's University Belfast in 5th. In FRT, we've got 6th. In 7th, it is University College Dublin. In 8th, Aaron Farmer, Cardiff 18. And 9th, it is the Hull 18 with Tyler Davison. De Montfort are in 10th. University Glasgow's A team are in 11th. Hong Kong, who is that? Hong Kong Polytechnic are in 12th.
Oh, they've
Bolton.
won for the first time today. Welcome.
That is great to see. Meanwhile, Bolton are in 13th. University College London, UCL in 14th with their iconic pink livery as ever.
It's not College
Try
London,
again, Giles. A little bit further south, a bit more Spanish.
It's a Spanish team.
Hit it, Jess.
Wait, I need to find it. I need to find the name. It is.
You pronounced it so beautifully last time. We'll let you have this on us again.
Universidad de Castilla-La Mancha.
Perfecto.
University Dag.
Did I actually say it right? Oh my god.
You said it far better than I ever could, Jess. I fell asleep in my Spanish class. Sorry, miss. Miss. Anyway, meanwhile, in 15th, it is Vigo. In 16th, it is the York B team. Munster are in 17th. Another Hong Kong team, this time Redbird, are in 18th. Exeter, back in the top server yet again in 19th. Can they jump forward again? Quite possibly. In Staffordshire are in 20th position. 2 minutes to go before lights out here for the second time tonight. Live from a virtual Sydney, it is race 2 of round 4 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. In the commentary box, it's Giles Cosgrove, Jess Ball and James Monty Montgomery. We've seen what happened in the sprint race. Jess, your predictions for the full 35 minutes?
I think they're probably going to kill me to jinx them, but I think based on their times that they've been setting in at the practice server early on during the week, I'm going to get my money on York A for the win.
Oh, fair play. I wouldn't bet against them, put it that way. In response to Yui, yes, I have. Sorry, I've had a busy week, and I will reply to you either this evening or tomorrow morning. I can only apologise. Meanwhile, a lot of support, a lot of love for Hull and Top Hat Tyler. Billy Sturdy saying, "Go on, Tyler lad, you all." And of course, Darren Davison with plenty of emojis, top hats, and of course, goats there for Tyler. What can Tyler do for Hull this time out? They didn't have a great race in the sprint. Can they make up for it with the 35-minute full distance is the question. We're about to find out. York A on pole, Southampton in second. They'll be gunning to repeat the victory they saw in race 1. York A will have something to do about it. Their driver is incredibly good. Meanwhile, it's Queen Mary Formula Student in third. They got a top 3 earlier. Can they maintain a top 3 this time out? It's all to play for. It's all to come. It's all about to happen. Crank up the volume. Get your eyes on the screen. This is what it's all about. Formula Student Sim Racing live tonight for round 4. This could be the turning point for the championship. York A could be on a charger. They're outside of the top 10 now. They might not be by the end of this race. 6 lights to come before we go racing here at Sydney. The V8 engine's beginning to warm up. The revs are coming. Here come the lights as well for the second time tonight at Formula Student Sim Racing. It's about to be go, go, go. And that is an absolutely exceptional start for the 2 front runners. And there is Queen Mary going side by side against Bath, panel banging immediately. And that looks to me like York A have absolutely flown away with it. Meanwhile, Southampton are under pressure from Bath. Queen's University Belfast swapping in. The timing board is all over the place. University College Dublin in 4th. Are we going to see the same sort of results that we saw in race 1 on turn 2? I don't think so. They managed to make it quite clean here. Here's Queen Mary Formula Student. They were up a lot higher, I thought, and they're now in 11th.
Yeah, so they must have caught up in something going on that we did not see. But Hole A, Top Hat Tyler's getting quite a few places off the start, up to 7th. Florence trying to defend up the inside as well. But you can see, I'm looking at the gap in the time it's saying myself, York are running away with it right now as we've got Bath and College doubling side by side into the tight corner, and Bath just about had the edge there. We've got Redbird and Bolton go for it. Bolton's already up to 10th in this race. We've got being passed by Redbird. Redbird are looking to redeem themselves after them having running out of fuel or having mechanical problems. We don't know what happened in that race, to be honest, but they want to make sure they have the right amount of fuel in their car. We also got to keep an eye on what tyres these drivers are on to make sure that they last a bit longer. But right now, Dylan Warren from York A is pulling away like no tomorrow. 2.5 seconds, Giles.
In one lap. It is an absolutely barnstorming drive for Warren for York. Meanwhile, Southampton piling on the pressure onto their accelerator pedal in a desperate attempt to keep up with York and that unbelievable pace. The question is, can they manage it over the next 33 minutes? We will keep you posted. On board with Queen Mary, a whole pile of cars going well wide there, and Queen Mary saying, thank you very much, I will have some of that. And they are up into 8th with FRT ahead of them. Meanwhile, here is Top Hat Tyler, down in 13th, was in 10th, I think went wide in that pile-up that Queen Mary went through there. Plenty of love on the chat for Tyler. Some say that he polishes his top hat with another top hat, according to Mayo. I can neither confirm nor deny, but that is EVRT going off there, and plenty of cars going through on them. And that's an absolute disaster. A big crash with, I think, who was that? York B? Did they collide with there?
It was hard to tell, but things just go bad to worse for Redbird. One race they ran out of fuel, next minute they were caught up in an instant. Here comes Bolton, by the way, up the right-hand side of Vigo. Bolton up into 10th place now. MTU past Florence up into 8th place. There's a lot of movers and shakers. Don't forget, you do get points for being the highest climber. There's a lot of people trying to be the highest climber they possibly can. Exeter had a very good race in race 1. In race 2, not so much.
Meanwhile, you're on board with Cardiff Racing as they hunt down the Irish side from Dublin, piling on the pressure now, both posting fastest laps for each respective team as they cross the line and start their next lap. Equally spaced, about half a second to a second between a lot of these teams. Bath, College Dublin and Cardiff chasing down Queen's University Belfast. Here's Glasgow's A team in an uncharacteristic 16th position, looking at the back end of the B team from York, braking late. Behind them, under pressure from Redbird from Hong Kong, who will be determined to make up for lost time now. They had a really positive looking first race until they ran out of fuel by the looks of things. They are now determined to redeem themselves, as Jess was saying, but those incidents have made it a lot more difficult, and they go through on the inside of Glasgow. Do Hong Kong, a very aggressive move from the team from Asia, a fantastic move nonetheless, because that has put them up into 16th, relegating Glasgow's A team down into 17th. This is not good for the reigning champions of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, Jess.
It definitely isn't, because they were probably expecting the same pile-up to happen in race 2, and it hasn't happened, and it's hard to overtake around it. So Glasgow are going to be up in with an uphill battle of their life, and they're going to hope that there's carnage going to be in front of them. But it is still a long way to go in this race with the strategies coming into play. Glasgow might have better time management. It is not all over for Glasgow. They're on, I believe, the harder tyre, the soft tyre, compared to the drivers in front of them. They're on the super soft, with Redbird getting past York B for position. Top Hat Tyler, according to the chat, got pushed off in from 10th to 13th. He's now moved up into 12th position, and he's chasing down the Spanish team. Not UCL, Giles, the Spanish team.
I'm not even going to try pronouncing it, Jess. Vigo going through on the inside of Hull A. Vigo are under pressure now from Hull. I think Hull were trying to get through on Vigo there, and it's a really awful set of events for Top Hat Tyler, who was in 10th and is now down into 13th, under pressure from De Montfort behind them. De Montfort have said they've rewound the stream and they're very grateful for the positive comments. The car is indeed named after Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes.
Fantastic stuff. We love a bit of Sabrina here in the commentary box. Hull trying to get past Vigo with UCLM up ahead of them. We're going to have to call it UCLM. Otherwise, we're just going to make an absolute pig's ear of pronouncing it.
Yeah,
And
well, we'll just call
lighting
it
up the
UCLM.
brakes.
It'll be
li-
easier.
Lighting up the brakes was Hull and Queen's University Belfast doing something very similar, and that will cook the tyres with 29 minutes to go.
Look
There
at
will be
Bath.
There will definitely be a pit stop coming up. The question is, can they go for a one stop or will it have to be two stops? Bath chasing down Queen's University Belfast. It's going to be a case of who brakes latest, I think, over the course of the next lap. Bath looking to make gains on that top 3 position. The Queen's University Belfast, they came in the top 3 last time out a few minutes ago. Can they do a repeat run tonight in the second race here? Meanwhile,
Oh,
a
look at
massive
that.
pile of cars. And that looks to me to be Top Hat Tyler diving down the inside on Vigo. Can Vigo hold defensive? Yes, they do. They close the door on Top Hat Tyler, who has got both the Montfort and EVRT right behind them. Tyler's got to make this work. He tries again. He clips the sausage curve. He makes a mistake, and he's on the grass. And through go to Montfort on Hull. And now as EVRT have gone through as well. And that is heartbreaking for Tyler, who was incredibly brave, but just couldn't make it stick.
Oh, what a shame for Tyler. He had to go for it. He had to be aggressive because he couldn't just sit there because otherwise he would lose so much time because Glasgow A could be catching. So he had to make them run for it, really. But the tyres will come back to him as we saw Monty's skin there for a minute there, which almost scared the living hell out of me just for a second. As Redburn has passed to Montfort for 13th, so there's moving to the shakers once again there. We'll keep an eye on battles going through throughout the evening, but UCLM on the charge now, putting pressure on Bolton for 10th position, and also Bolton putting pressure on Florence for 9th position. So we've got a three-way fight for 9th position, which could mean crucial points in the championship. Bolton trying to make amends for what has been not the best run of form in some races, but they really want to recover from that as well. And this is really great to see from the UCLM how good they actually are in the Sydney Motorsport Park. That's where we are tonight. He's got some good slipstream from Bolt. I always get confused. Yeah, good slipstream for Bolton. Let's see what they can do as Bath almost made a mistake there, but they're going up the order once again.
The brakes glowing like hot coals inside the hubs of these wheels, and I've got a funny feeling that these cars are beginning to get a little more difficult to handle. They've been really piling on the pressure. We're 10 minutes in now, approaching a similar distance that we saw last time out, where the tyres just begin to creep into a lack of grip, and the understeer becomes a bit more of a problem for the drivers to handle. As you can see there on board with Bath, trying to get the apex and just not quite making it. The understeer on these cars a little difficult to handle, especially as the tyres begin to lose their grip. You're on board with UCLM. They've got a front view for the back end of Bolton. Here's Queen Mary trying to go on the inside of Cardiff. They sneak in behind them to get the slipstream, deciding to back off and not make a move immediately. But Cardiff will go wide through there. That understeer really playing havoc for the teams. And Queen Mary all over the back of Cardiff. Aaron Farmer will be having a rear view full of orange and will know he's under pressure. Ahead of them is University College Dublin. That is not the immediate problem for the 6th place car. It is Queen Mary, who currently sit within the top 3 positions. In fact, they are the leaders in the championship of the series. They'll be determined to make as many points as possible after some storming drives from both York and Southampton. Look at that gap between York and Southampton, 6 seconds. Warren going away with it yet again for York. Monty was saying earlier, wouldn't cut them out of the championship yet. They're not in the top 10 even, but the performance we're seeing from Warren is unbelievable. Meanwhile, a fairly decent performance from Queen Mary as well, piling on the pressure on Cardiff. Cardiff going defensive, going a little wide there. It's not going to be long before Cardiff give in, I think. I just wish that Aaron could hold on just out of personal preference.
Queen Mary has the traction. He
Exactly.
has the better traction. He can attack the curves a bit more. I wonder if Queen Mary's got a setup where they could use the curves more and not unsettle the car, because Queen Mary seems to be a lot more comfortable with them as they're going through. As they go down the hill now, Queen Mary's got to go for it soon, but he's not going to afford to take too much risks. Surely not.
They were really going. They nearly went for it then. They backed off just in the nick of time. But Cardiff will know that their days in 6th position are numbered, surely. the top 10 are looking really, really close, apart from, of course, the number 1 spot, which is 7 seconds now away from second place. That is unbelievable stuff. Staying with this, though, Queen Mary and Cardiff duking it out for 6th place, going down the start-finish line, getting the slipstream are Queen Mary on Cardiff. Cardiff pulling away suddenly, and then bunching back up again. But this is a fantastic duel between two drivers who are intent on keeping it clean, which is what we love to see in the commentary box. Queen Mary Formula student looking to the inside, not quite finding a way around, snucking in on the back and getting that slipstream. And this is actually inviting Munster to get a lot closer as Cardiff hold up Queen Mary. Meanwhile, here's Bath, who've been chasing down Queen's University Belfast for the best part of 15 minutes. Are they within a chance of getting a move in now? Surely, Jess, we're beginning to get close to it.
Oh, look at that! Queen Mary almost got the charge there of Cardiff, almost being pushed off the road. Is these two. Queen Mary wants to get them over before they make their pit stops. And by the way, they're on the super soft tyres. They can't afford to push too much. Surely, very soon, Giles, they're going to be thinking about pitting. But I think Queen Mary is going to possibly go for the move here. To the right hand side, it's going to be the run, surely. As they set the curve side by side, the number 9 of Queen Mary is looking to get up into 6th place to replace Cardiff from that position. But also in the fray is MTU. MTU's in the fray. Munster Technological University wants to go for it. Queen Mary takes the right-hand line. Munster is going to be playing the backseat of all this. They're bumping wheels, goes Queen Mary.
And Munster are into the pits.
Munster are in. Munster is pretty much not wanting to be in that traffic. And Queen Mary is through, Giles. Queen Mary's up to 6.
It was gonna happen eventually. A valiant effort from Cardiff, and Queen Mary get through on them into turn 1 of this lap, as Munster's flashing their lights, waiting patiently in the pits, dropping down the running order. They pitted early. In fact, I think they're the first of the teams to pit. Meanwhile, an absolutely storming charge here from EVRT as they go through on Montfort, flying through into turn 1. A really bold, brave move, braking late, and it's paid off. EVRT up into the top 10, and that's going well wide there.
No, Bolton!
Bolton are off, and that puts Hull into 12th, Vigo into 13th. Going wide, losing the grip there. The tyres are beginning to cook, Jess. The pit stops are soon going to be coming thick and fast.
Now, Munster with them pitting is probably going to set alarm bells ringing for all the other teams who are on the same tyre. Are they going to think about pitting now? Because, of course, we've already had about 15 minutes or so of this race. I think it's going to be probably pitting in 15-minute stints. We could see a splash and dash, or we might see people pitting a bit later, so they could do that one-stop race, such as Florence, for example, who's on the soft. Same with the Montfort. Top Hat Tyler, I think, is going to be one of those people. Munster down in 17th is pulled the trigger. No one else has pulled the trigger so far. We know that Munster had that edge as they just got past Glasgow, who has not pitted yet, I believe, if I'm not too mistaken. So Munster having that tyre advantage right now. Meanwhile, we're on board with Bath, who's trying to chase down Queen University Belfast for the podium position. Bath has been looking amazing. We know how Chan is behind the wheel in that Bath car, and that was a slight correction
well
for
held
Bath
there. The tyres definitely cooking for all the teams, and well held by Bath. Through go Munster on Staffordshire. Munster were up a lot higher. I think they've lost time because of that pit stop, but now it's going to pay dividends. They are on fresh rubber. They've got more fuel. They can afford to really send it for the next 20 minutes, certainly the next 5 minutes, as the rest of the teams will have to start thinking about those pit stops. They've gone early. How well is this going to pay off for Munster is the question. Meanwhile, York are at nearly 9 seconds ahead of Southampton. They could pull in for a pit stop and a pint of milk and still come back in ahead of Southampton. That is how well they've gone away with this, and they're not first. They're not first. In fact, they're going for another lap. They are not affected by this. Is Warren and York A piling on the pressure on the rest of the teams, not only for now, for the whole season. The precedent, the bar, has been raised substantially by York A, and the response of the other teams is going to be the question. Can anybody match up to Warren and York A for the rest of the series. Munster have made up another position now, going past Bolton into 14th. You're on board with your race leaders, York A, nearly 9 seconds ahead of Southampton in second place.
He's increasing the gap by quite
on
a
old
bit.
tyres. On old tyres, Jess. This is impeccable driving.
It's about that consistency. I was saying earlier, you've got to have that consistency in lap times in order to really just increase the gap. And it's also about adaptability, because of course in the Formula Student Sim Racing Series we're not racing at in the same cars every week. They're racing in different cars, different tracks, and we know how Dylan Warren likes to race in different sims, not just F1 but lots of other sims. He's showing that he's improving on that adaptability in this series as well, and he's definitely teaching that to the rest of his team in York A as well. They can learn a lot from him, and York A are proving very strong because of it. It's going to be a strong unit, and I'm not surprised that Monty have tipped York A to climb up the championship. I'm going to say they could be in the top 3 as well, and York A is staying out once more, but we've got to draw our attention to the likes of Queen Mary, who's just passed College Dublin.
Queen Mary on a stonking drive, and both teams go well wide, and that is almost hitting the tyre wall. Going off there did Queen Mary in the battle between them and University College Dublin. I'm not sure who was at fault there. It looked to me like Queen Mary had got past. Bath are in the pits. Cardiff have taken advantage of Queen Mary and University College Dublin seemingly coming together, certainly both going well wide and off into the grass. And now Bath and Cardiff are both in the pits. College Dublin and Queen Mary going through on them, but they are going to be a lap behind in terms of fresh rubber, and they're going to have to make a pit stop at some point. And here it is then, College Dublin trying to get back past Queen Mary. I didn't quite catch who was at fault there. Cardiff, yes, are indeed in the pits, and they are falling well behind. Trying to make places is just not going to be the case if you're in the pit lane. You're not going to make up places in the pit lane.
No,
stating the obvious there.
At least they've done their stop, and they're going to be on the fresher rubber for the next 15 minutes or so until the end of this race, which means they could fully go guns a-blazing when everyone else is trying to save on their tyres. Crucially though, I'm just trying to see where Munster is. Munster is in 10th, so Munster's gained a lot just by pitting early. That's huge for them.
It really is. The question, of course, though, is as their tyres begin to age, those around them will be on fresher rubber. How long can they make this work for? They've got 16 minutes to go on the clock. Have they been a little premature with this is the question. Cardiff hoping to make the move work that Munster have employed. And Southampton, second place in this race, have entered the pits. They will be determined to catch up with that 12-second gap between themselves and York A on the fresher rubber they're about to put on. Southampton and Queen's University Belfast both in now, and they headed out onto the track. Are Southampton, is anybody going to come past them? No, I don't think so, because the top 5 beyond York have all pitted now. Queen Mary Formula Student as well, and as FRT go through on those teams. Florence staying out on track and headed into 3rd position. How long can they make that last for? I'm not entirely sure. They will have to pit at some point in the proceedings. It's all go now. Everyone's in the pits. It's all jumping around on the timing board. And as Jess was saying, the team to keep an eye on really is the team that pitted first. It's Munster. So look out for where they are in the running. They're up to 6th as a result of all this.
The inside of ECLM, Bath's up to 4th. That was a great move from Bath. They're having a really great race so far, and it's proving it. And they seem to be the one at the front managing the tyres effectively. And just to put things into perspective with how well York and Southampton are doing, Southampton came out of the pits and they're still in 2nd.
Really, really well done to Southampton. FRT in 3rd. You're on board with the 4th place car. It's
York
Bath.
is in.
And York have finally pitted. They could genuinely wash their underwear and still come back in first place.
Giles.
They could really, they could sit out, get out of the car, put a deck chair up, read of Mice and Men, and get back in the car and drive off, and they'd still come out in the lead. That is how gargantuan that 30-second gap between them and Southampton is. Bath gone through on FRT then, as York head back out into the lead. Not a problem for Warren, and here comes Southampton charging down the start-finish straight, trying to close in on York A, but it's still a monumental gap even after that pit stop. They're nowhere to be seen York A ahead of Southampton. Southampton will have to settle for second place as in come the team from Florence for their pit stop. And what does this mean for the running order as things stand? Munster, Jesse, they might well have made this work like a charm. They're up into 5th place. Can they make that?
Florence have missed their pit box.
Oh dear.
What's going on, Florence? Oh, come on. Move.
They're just, I don't know whether they've actually...
They're teasing us, Giles.
I'm not sure what's gone on there, Jess, but meanwhile, Cardiff are up into 7th place. Queen's University Belfast holding on to 6th. Through then on, those guys do EVRT go ahead of Florence. Is that Hull? I think that's Hull ahead of them. As Top Hat Tyler Pitts in 15th position. He'll head back out onto the track in 15th as well. University College Dublin through on Bolton. Your running order at the moment, York A 7 seconds ahead of Southampton. That is guaranteed to open up by at least 30 seconds. Come the checkered flag. Bath are in 3rd. In 4th, Munster have just gone through on UCLM. They have made that work. That early pit stop has worked like a charm, but their tyres are a few laps older than everybody else's now. And the question is, can they maintain this position? All eyes on Munster for the next 13 minutes and 20 seconds. UCLM, as we've been saying, are in 5th. Queen's University Belfast in 6th. Cardiff in 7th. Queen Mary in 8th. And De Montfort, you're on board with them now. They are in 9th position. Free tarmac ahead of them, and they go through into the pits. De Montfort have held it out for as long as they possibly could. They are now going through for fresh rubber, and UCD, University College Dublin, go into 9th as a result of that. Bolton up into 10th. University of Glasgow orbiting the top 10. They're in 11th now. Exeter, a fantastic result for them. They're now in 12th. They were at the back. They are having pitted late, mind you. So some of these teams will be reverting back to old previous positions further down the grid. De Montfort heading back out on track. EVRT going through on them. As far as I'm concerned, this is York's race unless a disaster befalls them, and I don't see it happening. That gap has opened up to 15 seconds already in one lap. That is an unstoppable force against the rest of the grid. It's York A versus the rest of the world. Scott Pilgrim could never. This is monumental from York. Southampton in 2nd place, Bath in 3rd. I'm really interested to see whether Munster can hang on to 4th place here. That's where my eyes are on. Meanwhile, here's Hull, a team that we wish were having a better night than they are currently. 15th position is the best they can do, but they might be on for 14th if they can get through on DMU, De Montfort University. Here is FRT Florence back in the pits. They didn't make their first pit stop work because they overshot their pit box. They've gone round for another lap and now they're back in. This is a disaster for the Italians. Meanwhile, Queen's University Belfast flying through in 5th. Ahead of them is Munster. They've got 11.5 minutes to make up that gap. It is doable. It's 7 seconds. They can claw it through, especially on that fresher rubber. Munster beginning to get a little squeamish in their chair. Not quite squeaky bum time yet, but just enough to be fingering the collar. I'd be a little nervous.
Pit stops, Giles, from Bolton and UCLM.
Yeah, they've tried to make it work as long as they possibly can. They're waiting now for that fresh rubber. They'll head out on track and they'll be on a barnstormer. Both teams we've seen do very, very well, especially Bolton. Can they get through on some of the back markers with that fresher rubber? Surely they possibly can. Jess, if you were driving in this race, what would you be going for? Would you be going for the same move as Munster, very early with the first stop, maybe even a second stop? What would you be doing? You've done very well in sim racing. You know what you're talking about here.
Well, of course it depends on the track, because there are some tracks where the undercut is better and there's some tracks on the overcut, so you've got to do your research. But we've seen in this affairs that the undercut has been so powerful. But if you can manage the tyres well, I would say the undercut is worth it. But if you are a driver that pushes to the limit every lap and seem to like wear your tyres quite a lot, maybe try and extend just a little bit more, or maybe just pitting early will probably be beneficial. But if you can push towards the end, maybe the overcut is worth it. I don't know. But the undercut seems to be the most... hold on. Munster? No.
Munster back in the pits. Munster in the pits. After all this hype, after all the excitement, the Munster may have made it work with an incredibly early pit stop. They're back in again. Are they going for a 2-stop, or has there been a mistake?
I'm looking at their I'm just trying to see where they are now. They're 9th. Their last lap was a 1:32, which is about 2 or 3 seconds slower than the guys around them at
Jess,
the UCD.
Did they put on the wrong tyres, or did their tyres just bait
I think
very
they did
quickly?
put on the wrong tyre. They were meant to go on the softs, and they went on the supers.
Oh no! Absolutely gutting for Munster then, who may have made a mistake with their tyre choice. We could well be wrong. They could be going for a 2-stop. Maybe they were gambling on those super stops being incredibly quick, but knowing they go away quickly and having to make that second stop. 9 minutes on the clock. Cardiff, oh, this is deja vu all over again. Queen Mary back behind Cardiff. Can they get through? We know how defensive Aaron can get with his positions, closing the door on Queen Mary and holding onto the racing line like his life depends on it. But Queen Mary, we've also seen incredibly tenacious when it comes to getting past teams that they want to get through on. And Queen Mary, in the lead of the championship going into tonight's proceedings, they will want to get past Cardiff, who were only in 9th. They won't care. Cardiff, who? Queen Mary will want this 6th and this 5th place and beyond. And at the moment, it's the Welsh standing in their way. How long can Cardiff hold on to this position is the question. As according to the timing being, they've gone past Queen Mary's. No, that's not correct. I don't know what's going on. They're locking up then, though.
Yeah, the timings are having a bit of a mare.
Getting very, very close are Queen Mary on the back end of Cardiff. As Cardiff lock up, they can see Queen's University Belfast in their sights. University of Glasgow in the pits again, Jess. Some of these teams clearly going for a second stop then. Potentially, Munster haven't made a mistake. They're just going for a 2-stop strategy.
I think they are, and the ones that pitted quite recently probably can make the 1-stop work, but the ones like Munster who pitted early, as one team is going really slowly. Exeter was going very slowly there. No, Exeter figured for that fuel.
Oh no! Absolutely gutting for the team from Devon as they are automatically returned to the pits by the server. Queen Mary have made it through on Cardiff. Cardiff relegated down into 6th. Can they stay with them and potentially mount a comeback is the question. Looking at that gap, possibly not. I hate to be the bearer of bad news if you're watching in support of the Welsh. Trust me, I really do hate to be the bearer of bad news in that regard. Southampton with a 19-second gap between them and York A. It's just opening up like a cavern between York A and the rest of the field. Nearly 20 seconds now with 7 minutes of racing to go. Southampton might have to content themselves with second position. It's not going to harm their proceedings in the championship because Hull A and Bolton. Now these two we've seen go duking it out before, and they're going to duke it out again. Bolton under pressure from Tyler Davison. Can Hull get through on Bolton? I don't really know. Maybe Bolton have actually just got through on Hull, because I think Bolton are flying through and pulling away from Hull now. So it looks to me like Bolton got through on Hull just as we came to them. And now it is a case of UCLM for Bolton. Can they catch up with a gap of 3.5 seconds or thereabouts between them and the team from Spain? EVRT from Hong Kong ahead of UCLM by only 0.5 seconds. A move imminent for the Spaniards on the team from Hong Kong then, as you're on board with Bolton, who've got through on Hull and are opening the gap in a big way. Meanwhile, talking of gaps opening up in a big way, Queen Mary have really pulled away from Cardiff, and now it's Queen's University Belfast up next for them. They go wide. They're getting very close now. That's invited Queen Mary to really go in on them, getting the slipstream on the back end of the team from Belfast are Queen Mary, your championship leaders going into this round, and they're proving why as they close in on the team from Queen's University Belfast. Surely a move is imminent here, Jess.
I think it could be. Queen Mary have the better line. They have the better management of their tyres, it looks like. It seemed to be a lot better. And unfortunately, I've got some bad news for any Devonshire fans. Exeter has DNF. They're retired from this race.
Absolutely gutting for them, and it might be about to be gutting for Queen's University Belfast. It is gutting for the team from Belfast. Queen Mary have got through on them as well. They're taking no prisoners but Queen's University Belfast might be taking prisoners. They've tapped them out. They have tapped the back end of Queen Mary, and Cardiff have said, not my fault, I'll have that, thank you and good night. And Cardiff go through. Queen's University Belfast are through as well, and Queen's Mary will have something to say to the stewards about that. They got punted away by Queen's University Belfast after what was a clean move for the team from London, and they are now back into 6th position and having to do it all again past both Cardiff and Queen's University Belfast. The Irish and the Welsh not making it easy for the English tonight with 4.5 minutes of racing to go. Aaron back defending against Queen Mary for the 3rd time this evening. Can it be 3 for 3? Queen Mary on them, looking to the inside. That's a very close position to be in. Oh, they just about managed to hold on to it, do Cardiff. But Queen Mary will know they are going to get past in the next 4 minutes. But really what they want to do is get past Queen's University Belfast, who really owe them the position. Let's be honest, after that move.
Yeah, I mean, they've been swapping positions like no tomorrow, but they can't afford to take any risks here, because otherwise they will lose not 1, not 2, not even 3 positions, but maybe even a lot of positions if they tangle with each other. But here comes Queen Mary.
Yeah, there's no way that Cardiff can defend that. The absolute pace going into this turn from Queen.
Giles.
Oh, hang on a minute. That's really well held from Cardiff. Queen Mary do have it, but some fantastic defensive driving. Full send mode from Cardiff and Aaron Farmer. Queen Mary are, though, up into 5th position. They've done it for a 3rd time. This race is going to get exhausting for them after a while, and now they're in the hunt with a vengeance for the 4th position. Queen's University Belfast punted them off. They will have something to say about it. Will the team from London, Queen Mary Formula Student, going for it? Meanwhile, here's Bolton trying to get through on both UCLM and EVRT in one go. A fantastic move there. Not quite sure what happened. Was it clean? We couldn't possibly comment. But flying away. That gap is huge now. Meanwhile, you're on board with Queen Mary as they hunt down a squiffy-looking Queen's University Belfast. Queen Mary going through on Queen's University Belfast, getting very close. They've got the inside line. They sneak in behind to get the toe. Oh, this is only a matter of time. The question is, can it be kept clean? Going wide. This is where it all went wrong last time. Thinking about it a bit differently, are Queen Mary on Queen's University Belfast. The Queens are really at it. Handbags at each other's throats, and Cardiff are going wide, cutting the grass. And that just lets University College Dublin through. And Cardiff have clearly got less grip. Their tyres potentially cooked in the defence against Queen Mary. A valiant effort, but not enough to hold off.
1:33.9 was Aaron Farmer's last lap, Giles, compared to College Dublin at 1:31.
So indeed, the tyres going away for Cardiff. They cooked them. Talking of cooked, I've got a funny feeling I think Queen's University Belfast's goose is cooked in 4th position. It's only a matter of time before Queen Mary Formula Student come through on them, and it's just a question of when, Jess. They're getting very close now, looking to the inside, holding onto the racing line, holding onto the back end, getting the toe off the team from Belfast. Are the Londoners looking round to the inside again, not quite close enough to be making a move. Very well defended by the team from Belfast. Surely, though, they're going to get through with 1.5 minutes to go. This is going to be really close, Jess.
It's going to be very, very tight, but not that long to go of the race. So I'll have one final lap after this, I believe, to get this move done. So I think at this point, I don't know which driver you want to be. Would you be the one chasing, or would you be the one defending? In the corners where it requires so more straight line speed, then maybe you want to be the one chasing, but this is just such a technical circuit. You want to be potentially the one defending, but those two are so evenly matched. I just can't call it between these two. This is going to be the battle that goes down to the absolute wire. Same with Hong Kong and UCLM, as well as Glasgow and Hull. They still got a point to prove as well. I can't call it at this point. Let's watch and hang on to our seatbelts, because this could get very tasty.
50 seconds, 40 seconds to go on the clock. This is the last lap. York have won it as far as I'm concerned. Forget that. This is where the drama is. This is where the action is. Queen Mary Formula Student versus Queen's University Belfast. Into the last lap. Queen's University Belfast toe punted off Queen Mary after what was a clean overtake. Queen Mary had it all to do again. They've got past the Welsh. Can they get past the Irish? 21 seconds to go. It's now or never for the team from London. They were leading the championship going into this round. A point to prove and then some. Coming back with a vengeance for 4th are Queen Mary Formula Student, but the defensive driving from Queen's University Belfast in this occasion has been impeccable. They are flashing the lights. Queen Mary Formula Student against Queen's University Belfast. We'll forget all of that for a moment, because the leader is on the final lap. York A are 24 seconds ahead of the second place team. They are only just crossing the line to start their final lap. But boy, howdy, York A are already just going away with it and then some. I just cannot believe how impeccable the drive has been from York A. We're expecting them to be crossing the line, to be finishing, but York A is so far ahead, they've actually started another lap, which will mean the rest of the pack has to do another lap. Wowee, Queen Mary have gone through on Queen's University Belfast. Finally, Jess.
It took them a while, didn't it? But then they realised they got one more lap to do it. So
I really did think they had to do it in this lap, but clearly not. But now they are flying away with it. Clearly the pace is with Queen Mary, who are finally up into fourth. But as far as I'm concerned, the driver of the night, impeccable, dramatic-less, no drama at all, seamless and efficient. York A, 25 seconds ahead of Southampton. I do believe York were running their Joker tonight. Just do correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, they are. They said a lot. They ran it last time as well, I believe. So this is their one and only Joker, and they won both times. But here they come across the line.
And they do in impeccable fashion. 27 seconds in the lead are York A and Warren. He'll be joining us in the commentary box shortly. And Southampton
lap as well.
Absolutely. Southampton are going to have to take second position. They've got to get through on a back marker first. The back marker giving them enough room to get through on just about, maybe not. Southampton will have to take second place, but surely with the results like that, with Queen Mary in fourth, the engineering challenges might mix it up, but it looks to me like Southampton might put themselves into the lead of the championship now. Bath come over in third, an excellent drive for the team from Somerset. Very well done indeed to them. Queen Mary Formula Student, finally, after all that effort, a real labour of love for them. They come across the line in a well-deserved fourth, and Queen's University Belfast will take fifth, with College Dublin up into sixth after that mistake from Aaron Farmer from Cardiff, who went wide onto the grass, having lost grip after an earlier pit stop. Wow, what a race, Jess. That was like having all the drama of a sprint continuously for 35 minutes.
Honestly, it's been absolutely insane from start to finish, both in the sprint race and the feature race. They just haven't put a foot wrong. And fair play to all the drivers in race 2 for keeping it clean in Server 1 in turn 2. I was worried it was going to be a repeat of race 1. Luckily it wasn't. They must have learned from the driver 1 mistakes, I have to say. So really impressed. Really impressed with quite a lot of teams tonight with the way they performed. The likes of obviously University College Dublin, the Montfort doing well as well, and quite a few teams actually. It's hard to tell because the timers have gone now, but there we go. But yeah, it was a good race.
Stuff. Really enjoyed that. De Montfort saying, well done, Daniel. SM9406, well done, Freddie. Positions are positions.
Indeed. That's from Staffordshire, I believe. I might be wrong.
Yes, it is. It is indeed. Aiden having an absolute drama. Didn't run out of fuel. Meanwhile, was wiped out 3 times. Fuel saved 2 extra laps, and then 2 drivers on SS swiped across me. I would have gained time back in the pits and been on fresh super softs. Absolute disaster then for Aiden Shandbot. Meanwhile, Darren Davison says W. What does the single letter W mean in internet speak? I wish I knew. I'm not down with the kids. A single W in isolation. What does that mean?
Win. Oh my God, Giles. He's
deleted the comment. I think he might have been pressed enter prematurely. Whoopsie-daisy. Do apologise. Anyway, we'll be able to get you an interview with Mr. Warren very, very soon. What an absolute monumental race there. Salvatore, meanwhile, has commented, insane recovery for Queen Mary after being spun 3 times. Yeah, I really do feel for Queen Mary. W equals win/winner. But I must say, total agreement with Salvatore for Queen Mary there, because that was not an easy drive. They really had to work for that 4th position, and it was totally deserved. Really well done to the team from London. Not a podium, but as far as I'm concerned, still well worth being immensely proud of. I would be over the moon if I'd driven like that.
I think for some races, they will be disappointed with them not getting the place that they want, but it's consistency. Consistency is key. They can potentially use this as a drop round because of the incredible races Queen Mary has shown this season. So if the other races go better, maybe this could be the race to be like, right, I didn't get the podium that race. maybe I could use this as a drop round. You're going to lose less points because of it, maybe. So
it's a very valid point you make, Jess, because you're right. It's 7 rounds, but it's the best 6 which counts. So everyone gets to drop their worst result. That's going to start coming into consideration now. I think it's safe to say Hull will be doing that today, but it adds an interesting dynamic because I would say at the moment Southampton and Queen Mary have so far been very consistent throughout the year. Now that means if they keep this level of consistency up, it means come the end of the season they're going to lose more points, exactly. And this kind of plays into the hands of York, for example, because they were nowhere in the first 2 races, so they've got less points to lose come the end. Hence why I'm saying it's not over yet, and actually those that we're seeing in 10th, 11th,
like round 1 or round 2 as their drop rounds, maybe.
Exactly.
Remember, they could have won Charlotte if they didn't get swiped. But
yes,
there we go.
yes, you're quite right. They could have in that one as well. I can see Mr. Moore in the interview room. I am just pulling him through now, guys. I'm
just going to hold this up on screen now, just to make sure that there's no bias on our stream from what you're about to see. Because in a minute, you're going to see something entirely different. So I just want to point out that we are very, very grateful to our title sponsors. And yes, there are other teams available that may have prancing horses on their logos. But there you go. I can't get it to fit. But
well
you know what I mean.
Well done.
Keeping the British end up, sir. Meanwhile, on the way is Warren from York. Yet again, what an absolutely sterling drive. Monty's looking a little confused. So we may have lost him. We may have gained him. Hello, we can hear you. Now we can see you as well. I mean, I would say, what a magical race. And I really do mean magical race, because 25 seconds over the second place car, I mean, easy as pie. Surely it's like a Sunday drive. Did it not? So, off the line, Southampton did have a really fantastic start. How did you get ahead of them? Because I'm not entirely sure that the first place position on the starting grid is on the racing line. I think it might be on the wide, is it?
Okay.
Oh, apparently we can't hear you. Apparently they can't. We can hear you, but they can't.
There we go. There we go.
Of course we are. Of course, yeah.
York audio not on stream.
Don't worry.
Fantastic. Wait, how about that? How about now?
Yep, I can see your sound wave coming through now. Or that should be you.
There we go.
Now.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorted.
I may have thought the audio was done through the Discord, so that's on me.
That's fine. It's all good. We can hear you now, sir.
Yeah.
It wasn't us for once. Since when has that ever happened?
I mean, I can put the blame on you if you want.
I'd rather not, in all honesty. I get enough blame for things as it is. Anyway, absolutely storming drive. So you were confident in your start. In the rearview mirror, there was drama. How does that unsettle you as a driver, knowing that behind you could get punted at any moment? Because obviously the field is quite bunched together initially, and through no fault of your own, you could get caught up in that. Is there any way that you can avoid it as a driver in pole? Is it just a case of putting your foot down and getting well away?
Well, yeah, there's that, and I think if I remember, I kind of broke off the racing line just to make sure I didn't get punted from the cars behind. But by that point, they were like 6 tenths behind. But I did see 2 cars side by side as well behind me, which was kind of scary. But then on the exit, they crashed. So yeah, I mean, it made my life so much easier.
From then on, it seemed to be just a case of how far could you open up the gap. What you decided to pit a little later than some of them. Munster pitting very, very early. We think may have gone for a 2-stop strategy. We're not 100% sure.
Yeah,
the one stop strategy that you guys went for, especially the timing of it, there was nothing to rely on in terms of data from race 1 because it was a sprint, so there was no need for pitting. How did you decide when to go for it and whether it was a 1-stop or a 2-stop? What led you to that conclusion, data-wise, engineering-wise?
I mean, I just thought that a 2-stop would be a bit pointless because the pit loss is like 20-something, 22 seconds, 23 seconds, which is too much to like warrant, even with the tyres being so terrible. But no, we did tyre runs on each tyre to decide which tyre we're going to start on. Obviously, we knew the deg on the super softs was really bad. But the softs were so slow that it kind of made up for it. And I mean, even I did a run I think yesterday, day before that, on the wets, and the wets were quicker than the softs. So obviously from there you kind of know to avoid them. But yeah, I think one stop was pretty clear. I think every single, the Mazda feature was also one stop. So going off that was also made a strategic life a bit easier. But then as a whole, I think the pit lap was just dependent on the cars behind in the moment of the race. We kind of knew like a window, but the window wasn't really guaranteed. We knew the earliest you could pit, and we knew the latest you could pit. But then we also knew how much the tyres dropped off with the tyre runs that we had. So
clearly, the data makes the decision, and you had a lot of data because we've seen how much time you put on the practice servers and how dominant and how also strategic you were. Because as you were saying, you tried every car, you tried every tyre, and you came to the conclusion of the best combination. Where are you finding the time?
I had a lot. I was at home prior to this. Obviously, you can see in my accommodation with this massive York flag.
Yes, we keep hearing. We keep asking. People keep asking to see the flag, so you have to get that out in a second.
Yeah, I'm kind of covering the cupboard with it. So I'll go with. Here you go.
There you go. There's your York flag.
There's some pride of York right there.
Exactly. But I've forgotten the question now.
How did you find the time to get so much practice done?
Yeah, I was at home until like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. No, yeah, a week ago. So I had a lot of time to just do whatever I wanted, really. And I mean, I think I had everything like sorted in terms of setup, strategy, car. We even had the EC sorted, like the runs for it quite early as well, which we yet to see the results of. So hopefully that's quite good.
So being at home in preparation for this race, does this mean that you're dedicating the race win to your parents?
Oh no. No, that's a terrible statement. No, I'm dedicating it to myself and the team. So yeah, that's who deserves it. My mum was very not supportive of me being on the games, but I got over that. She didn't think I was trying to do uni stuff, and that's what I pitched this as, which technically it is, but it's not. But yeah, I think the team and obviously everyone that worked towards the result in the first race and the result in the second race.
It's an excellent result. We've been massively impressed here in the commentary box. How are you feeling about the engineering challenges? Because if you keep this pace up in the races, combined with potentially good results in the engineering challenges, you could still be on opportunity to actually challenge for the win over the championship. How are the engineering challenges going?
This one was a bit of a mystery, to be honest, because the gain that we had, I didn't think it was, or we didn't think, I mean, me probably, didn't think it was as big as we would have expected. Especially since the parameters were quite important as well. But obviously our first one, the Mazda one, which I wasn't involved in at all, we got like third. So yeah, I mean, hopefully looking forward to a good result for that, since the points are important. There's a lot of points on offer for it as well. And we need to catch the teams ahead. So yeah, let's hope they look good. To me, I think it was okay, but I didn't get the time gain I wanted. But I think the way and the method that we had to get the setup that we got in the end was quite good. So
methodology is a real word, don't worry.
I couldn't get it out.
On the subject of methodology, what's the plan going forward with the race strategies? Will you be driving in every event? Obviously, you can't have yourself on every single race without a driver penalty. Will we be seeing you for every single round up to and including Williams?
I mean, I'll be at Williams. It's obviously dependent on what the team decides, I guess. I mean, if I'm like a lot quicker, then yeah, I guess I'll be racing. Plus, it's Formula 1 cars next, which I mean is kind of
the Pope is Catholic. The sky is
It's next time. So.
Exactly. So
the Pope is Catholic. The sky is blue. We can pretty much guarantee we'll be seeing you in the next few rounds, and very much looking forward to seeing you at Williams. I mean, your own team has potentially commented on the live stream. Someone PR trained this guy. Will you be coming to Williams in the garb you're currently wearing? I think is another question on the subject of PR.
Ooh, maybe not in it, but it'll be there. But yeah, also I'll come in with comfortable. This is comfortable for racing because the stuff underneath prevents me from getting too hot. So.
Fair dues.
I was going to ask, could you potentially show us? You've got a movable camera. You're able to show us your flag. Could you show us your racing setup? It's clearly been incredibly effective.
I can try.
Watch it now be a Logitech G29 on an IKEA desk or something.
I'm going to cover the branding.
It's more than that.
No,
it's more than that.
Yeah, I'm going to cover the branding on the steering wheel though. You're not going to see that.
Do we not?
No, I mean no, I can't be showing you it.
York Formula
hold on a
student saying
second.
HP
So-
sponsorship incoming. We're reliably
Right, so
informed by
this
your
is
team.
a Next Level Racing rig, a sponsor of Ferrari, very, very good rigs. That is
Ooh,
the state of it.
snazzy.
We don't like these lot, so don't worry about those. And then that is the wheel that they use for Formula One eSports. So yeah, and this speaker holds my monitor up, and then that's the speaker here, the monitor here.
Oh, I
Because
love
you'll
those
see-
curve monitors.
You'll see the space that I have to try fit this all in, and it's kind of tight. So I've had to.
Are you in- Are you in
How
first year? Are you in halls? That looks like a halls bedroom
I'm in
to
halls.
me.
Yeah, I'm first year.
Wowee! I mean, if you're in, right, that's the next 3 years of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series written off for wins, at least in
mean, we'll
half
see,
of the
we'll see.
races.
Yeah, we'll see.
And will we be seeing you behind the wheel of the York car itself, or are you sim racing only? Will we be seeing you actually on track at Silverstone?
I'm going to say no this year. It's not my project at all. I wasn't there for the start of it, so and obviously there's a lot of people that would want
Fair
to be in the
dues.
car as well. So yeah, it's nothing to do with me so far. So I'm not
We're
gonna...
having we are having
take-
requests that you show the wheel. Is that something you'd be willing to do or no? Someone Safjan
Nah,
Ghani
just
says
search
show
up,
the
just search up what the F1 esports wheel is. I'm sure you can
S-Wa-
find it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You've heard it here first. As ever, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, and it will not be the last time we see you. I can almost guarantee it, were I a betting man. Have a great evening.
I hope so.
Enjoy yourself, and we'll catch you next time at Imola.
Okay, thank you very much. I should be racing now, so
Nice.
and hopefully winning. But we don't have the Joker, so we'll
Doesn't seem to stop. I
Somehow,
mean,
it's not going to slow you down somehow, I think,
No.
Mr. Warren. We'll be seeing you here again next month, I suspect. Congrats.
let's hope so. Yeah.
See
Thank you
you,
very much.
Dylan.
Have a good evening.
thank you ever so much
Bye-bye.
to
Take
Mr.
care.
Warren from York, and that can be almost guaranteed that will not be his last appearance in the commentary box. And I must say, guys, it seemed to me like previously
we need more
when we've
characters
done
like him.
a
It's
race
fantastic.
where it's
I
been a
love
sprint
interviewing
followed
him.
by a feature race, the feature race has been
I
a
can't
little
hear
more
Giles on
mundane, a little
Discord.
more chilled out,
No, I
especially
can't
compared
either.
to the
I think
sprint.
Giles
But
has gone
there was
quiet. Can
drama
you
after
hear,
drama
Jess?
during that. Really very exciting stuff.
No.
Okay. Oh, Giles is
The
coming.
stream can hear him.
Hello, hang
The
on.
stream can hear
What?
him. No, I'm just noticing that, but he's not coming through for either of us. What is going on with the technology today? I have no idea. Has Giles disconnected our little chat?
He can't hear us. Oh
Did you-
no.
Right,
Did you
back,
kick
Giles?
me out?
Are
Did
you
you
back,
kick
Giles?
me? Yes.
Yes.
Did you kick me
Yes.
out of the commentary box?
Yes.
I didn't do anything.
I kicked you out and put you back in again because your sound died in the commentary box, so we could see you as speaking on the stream, but neither of us could hear you, so sorry about that. Please, restart now that we can hear you again, Giles.
I was just going to say, previously, when we've run a combination of a sprint and a feature, it's been a little more chilled out and a little more mundane in the main feature race compared to the sprint. But tonight, even in the full 35-minute race, it was drama after drama after drama. EastEnders could never, and it's having its 40th anniversary this week.
Dum
Exactly.
dum.
Precisely,
mad.
Jess.
Right,
It really is.
we have the point. We have the points in, guys.
Oh, let's have a look then.
So, who's our money on? Who's won tonight?
Ooh, Southampton.
Oh,
Because
Southampton.
they
yes,
got a
no,
P2
yeah,
and a
no,
P1.
fair. Yeah, you are right, Jess.
And I think
Uh,
York second.
Well, there are no results there. Hang on. There we go.
Yeah, I was right.
Look at
There
that.
we go.
Southampton's
3
first and
points
second.
between
They
them.
are overall winners. I know it's tight, isn't it? But there we are. Congratulations to the University of Southampton, our overall winners provisionally for tonight. 3 points ahead of the University of York, who, in their own rights, I think that's their best points haul yet, actually, because that's a third and a first for them. So
3
mega job.
points separating them.
Absolutely. Queen Mary University London, though, still good. Look at that, 85 points. And Munster in fourth. I'm really pleased for them. I think that's been their best performance ever in the series. So great to see them up there. University of Bath in fifth. College Dublin in sixth, with Glasgow seventh, Staffordshire eighth, Queen's University Belfast ninth, and Bolton rounding out the top 10. Of course, guys, these are all provisional results. We are pending protests, etc., etc. So,
What about the engineering challenge?
Yes.
well,
We got to. Well.
Well,
What is that?
well.
What that is? That's a very ominous well.
well, let's see. So we've had 10 rounds of Glasgow winning this. It's the 11th round.
Are you teasing us something, Monty?
And I cannot... I'm just going to show you this because I can't believe it, because for an 11th time, the winners are...
Glasgow.
Well, this is where it gets interesting. They're
Hang on a
based
minute.
in Glasgow.
No.
Glasgow D?
Strathclyde.
Strathclyde! For the first time
go!
since we've started in 10 rounds, the 11th round, it's broken. Strathclyde have taken the top spot, but it still maintains in Glasgow. But wowee, that is a surprise to say the least.
That's insane.
Isn't it just?
What? Can you explain, Monty, what gave Strathclyde the win? Why was their entry so good?
Well, they will get their written feedback soon after this, but this challenge was quite a unique one because we had given them a set of data, but we had also said to them, look, you've got to, in this problem, you haven't got your regular drivers. You have an inexperienced driver doing the testing for you. So how can you validate how accurate that data is? A lot of the teams kind of fell short on this one because they came up with the solution of, oh yeah, let's go and give them lots of practice laps before we actually start experimenting with the setup. What they didn't take into consideration is stuff like, well, yes, that could help, but as they're a new driver, if you give them a new setup, are they going to be able to drive just as quick? Do they need time to adapt? The big question is, as you're evolving a setup with a new driver and they're getting faster, was it changing the setup which made the car faster, or was that actually the driver getting up to speed with more experience and so creating a false positive? And the judges felt that Strathclyde came up with the best solution to overcome that challenge.
Ah.
Massive well done to Strathclyde, a team we're incredibly fond of here in the commentary box, and an excellent result.
Definitely
for them.
so, because they weren't in the top server at all tonight, so at least they've taken away some big points in there.
Yeah.
So a huge
I would like to
congratulations
see them in the top server at some point.
Just
I would love
to clarify,
it would be good
because
to
I've
see
had
them
a couple. I've had a couple of messages in, and I just want to clarify. The engineering challenges are where we combine sim racing with the engineering degrees that a lot of members of Formula student teams do, where you get set a brief that's relative to the forthcoming race. So, for instance, in this one, you don't have your usual test driver available. You've got to get this car faster by a certain time. How do you do it? It's basically asking teams to take engineering data and explain their logic and their reasoning within a short time frame. They've only got about 5 minutes reading time, a word limit, a page limit. It's got to be very concise. It's got to be very clear. And it's also got to be very data driven. So those engineering challenges are really useful as training bases for teams that go then into motorsport. We've had plenty of alumni who've come from the FS Sim Racing Series and gone into motorsport. That is essentially, in a very, very quick way, what the engineering challenges are. Let's have a look at how this engineering challenge has affected the overall standings at the end of round 4 with the race results in as well. Over to you, Monty.
Absolutely. So after 4 rounds, guys, standings are University of Southampton, our leaders. Queen Mary University London second. Vigo up to... Ooh, that doesn't look right to me.
Surely stuff from round 3.
Yes, we've got a bit of a... Hang on, I'm just going to hit the refresh button on that and send a quick message in Discord. Because I feel like we're missing a couple of people's points here.
Talk amongst yourselves. I know we're supposed to do the talking, aren't we? Hang on a minute. We will get back to you with the corrected... We're going to get back to you with those corrected scores as soon as we possibly can. Do you want to put us back on screen, Monty, whilst we wait, just briefly?
Yeah, I think that would be a very good question. Something
and
is
one
missing
thing
there.
to mention, I think there was one thing to mention I saw in the standings. York have got into the top 10.
That's
Why
not really
am I not
surprising.
surprised?
That is really not surprising with how many points they're fishing at the moment. It's
Well,
very
we will say where they are officially in a minute once we look at the other points, because we can't say yet. But York are in the top 10, so congratulations, York.
Absolutely.
Congratulations
Congratulations,
indeed.
York, for another spellbinding drive there.
Amazing.
I must say, Dan-
266 points.
Daniel Letard has said, get in there P11 this round, even after getting killed in both races. Bless
That's
your
still
heart,
pretty
Daniel.
good.
Fair play. That is really good. Well done. And of course, overall standings coming up to you as soon as we can possibly get them. To Montfort just commenting, oof. Meanwhile, Daniel Letard simply putting with a very smiley emoji, just wait for after the protests, my friend. I mean,
So
yes.
You're 5th?
So, guys, I'm just having a look at this, and actually the points do check out. Hull had an absolute mare of a round because they only finished 19th. So the points have summed out, but yeah, they've really fallen back because of that. Southampton have had a huge hole. They've basically scored 150 points this weekend because of the engineering challenges as well, which York were missing from. So no, the points do check out. That is legit. Southampton and Queen Mary have broken away at the top, 3 points between them. Vigo now a very lonely third with, well, I say lonely third, a distant third with College Dublin right on their tail, and the University of York right in there as well now. Of course, this is all provisional,
Amazing.
pending protest, but no, those points do check out.
This is remarkable, and from I just wow. Okay, that
was
York!
A game changer of a round, wasn't it? That's 6
It was.
places York have made up.
6 places. I mean, that's like jumping over the Grand Canyon on a motorcycle. That's
From
Evil
from
Knievel
11th
level
to
jumping.
5th.
That's just incredible. I'm also mildly surprised that Cardiff have managed to stay in the top 10 between you and I, but there we are. Anyway, plenty of comments coming in because there's a lot of rivalry going on. De Montfort and University of Leicester seem to have their own rivalry going on within the comment stream. Just keep it nice, guys. But yes, a remarkable round, a round of changes, and I must say, it's looking like York could mount a vie for the win by the time we get to Williams. We're back at Imola next month. We'll be headed for that special round 6 that none of us have a clue about except Monty in April. And then in July, we will be live from the Williams eSports facility. So keep with us here at Formula Student. It ain't over yet. We'll be back soon. I've been Giles. She's been Jess. He's been Monty. But for now, it's good night.
Bye.